Order. It's 8:30.
You sure?
Yeah.
He didn't flinch when you said that. Are you sure about that?
All right. We have some guests in the audience this morning. Does anybody want to say anything? I know Mike does, but we'll talk about his deal in a minute. Anything else? Any constituent input? No? Okay. Let's move along. I guess since Mike's here, we can move to item 4D. In the interest of saving him time, so he didn't have to be bored with this for us the morning. So you're on, right?
I just kind of
handle that.
Well, we had the engagement letter reviewed by Mr. Seer, and all the required changes have been made and revised on the letter. So
He didn't want any changes, did he? That's kind of
Very
unusual.
few, and I did a great job, and I do recommend the execution of our district needs.
Does anybody have any questions of Mike? No?
Well, that's easy.
I like it. Yeah. You satisfied Spear before the meeting, that's when you get.
no question.
Let me tell you, that is really something to be said, satisfied Spear. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the engagement letter with Big Sur Company to do our audit next year. Did I hear a motion? Did I make
It's
a
the audit
motion?
for the fiscal year ending this month.
correct, fiscal year 2014.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Piece of cake, Mike.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you do come up with any questions, you have my number.
Okay.
Thanks again.
We'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's go to the approval of the minutes. The minutes that we had one regular meeting and one special meeting, I think. That was the next meeting. Any additions and corrections to the July 9th regular meeting? Minutes, regular meeting? No? How about the telephonic meeting on August 19th? Comments, questions, or corrections needed? And I'd entertain a motion to approve both of them as presented. Larry makes the motion.
I'll second
Endor seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, Mary. You're on.
On the investment report for July, two CDs came mature on July 30th, and they both have to be transferred to an original checking account. And they were each for $1,040,000.
So this balance of $4 million.
Correct.
We still have some 6,909 in the bank total cash
Going down.
Going down.
Thanks. You look at the budget.
Yes, I do.
Give you a little
Yep.
computation in your heart.
Yeah.
You should have it called a medic. Okay. Any questions of the investment report, Mary?
Just wanted to remind me again, Mary, on your cash flow budget, page 104, line 4213, that dewatering fee that we show in our asset side, that's still subject to rebate at that point?
This
Or I
is
mean
just-
refund?
This is just as revenue realized
Okay.
for the year.
But if it says dewatering fee, that's still subject to refund, correct, at this
No.
point in the
Not on
budget?
not on the revenue side, on the balance sheet, there's the payable.
Okay.
Um, subject to being refunded.
Okay, deferred revenue, okay,
Correct.
okay. Well, I'll only ask this another few times and I'll finally figure it out. Okay, all right.
Any questions on the balance sheet or the cash flow?
There's not.
Well, I'll make this remark, there needs to be a note that indicates that we have no appraisals and we don't have a basis for the value of all of the irrigation works.
And that should be in the audit, shouldn't it?
That's the one we've been trying to get them in the audit to figure out what to do with it. But Jim's right, he knows what they're discussing.
Well, I was just reminded from a meeting with Harold Brown last week. You know, he says that what he's condemning, 9 crossings that affect us is worth $100. That's what he pleads to the court.
It's probably right, but we may have a different opinion.
It's more the court.
Okay, $500 check report, I guess, right?
Yes.
Let the record show we reviewed all of that, Sharon, and no action.
We're still getting the best price on the Tiwa petroleum, gas. and
The
diesel.
fuel? Yes.
Fuel. Look, expensive. That's the best price, that's the best price.
Do we have any questions on the $500 check report?
Anybody have any questions about the billings for engineering work? Crazy year.
Yeah, well, instead of doing, the reason we put it that way was to show you the budgeted amounts for the time period. Some of those invoices covered multiple months, so we didn't put them under the 500, we just put them under the January through June entire. And then the amount that's estimated that we're over under. Now, the Union Pacific's 100% reimbursable. In fact, they've already made a deposit, right, for the entire amount. So that one will carry over. The database work is, we're sort of moving out of the, pretty much, where's Lisa's over here, we're out of the repair stuff so much now, we're into this, the maintenance, right?
Yes.
So that's sort of a different item, that'd be a different budget item, but, so I don't even know if the estimate for July and August is, maybe that should go under a different budget item, because if we're not doing any more repair.
Repairs, it's all maintenance.
The general work is just the day-to-day stuff that we do, that's budgeted, so we're coming in under budget on that, and then the litigation, we cut back on that, you guys, from the previous discussions we had. But there still is some, and we can discuss that in executive session on that litigation. We're still obviously spent about 4 hours with the commissioner this weekend. So, if you have any questions, we'd be glad, and we have, previously we had distributed those invoices at least to executive committee people, so anybody wants to see the invoices, Mary has those.
Mary, I have one question on the first page of this, brought out. I see Bixler and Company's check. That's for last year?
Yes, sir.
That's not a prepayment, that's for work already done.
That's for the fiscal year 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, we just received their bill last month.
We got your credit card report. Any questions, anybody about that? The biggie. Hey, Mary. I have the biggie. What's about the budget? Who's gonna handle that?
We're gonna go ahead and go over the summary report.
That's the most important. That's where I got all the red marks in there.
At this time, we went ahead and left the rates for the land and the water, since we have not considered any increases, rate increases, so they have stayed
Same as they were last year.
correct.
That line 5, in that one that goes is no longer necessary.
Right, the law changed.
On that line 5, that's not, it's not applied to us anymore.
No, we can believe it, but I mean, it just shows for your information.
Okay.
As you see, line 7 through line 11 are our balances as of August 22nd. Proposed ending balance is $6,212,000. An estimated expenses for August of $250,811, leaving the balance on August 31st at $5,961,250.
Yeah, I think on line 12, the date there, we just missed that. It should
Correct.
be 8/22 instead of 6/30.
Okay.
Just the total of all 8/22 numbers.
The following balances are balances as of last year, August 31st, 2013. We had an ending balance of $7,717,981.
Question, Mary, just a second. On the balance sheet, it shows 6,900,000, and here you show 6,212,000. Total available funds.
They're different dates.
Correct.
July 31st and,
Correct, that's as of July.
August, oh, it doesn't include August.
And this is correct, it does not include August.
okay, well, it says 6 there.
Well, it's line 12, the date is incorrect on line 12, it should say 8/22.
Okay.
Our estimated change of balance from last year to this year is $1,756,731.
What was our target last year?
Our target was,
As we budgeted last year, I know we were expecting a deficit,
a deficit of 2.5.
Like you said, yeah.
2.5.
Correct.
That's good, we came in 750.
Or I guess the other way to say it's less bad.
That's bad. Or more good.
The following revenue and expenses is the proposed revenue for 2014-2015. The estimated revenues we're proposing to receive is $5.2 million. It's like, we did receive an estimated amount of $5.3 for the end of 2014. So it's similar, it will stay similar to this fiscal year.
Yeah, that's all depends on the amount of water we start off with, I think, but you gotta go with what we did this year.
And it's also, it includes a slight increase of our 2001 employment contract.
Yeah, the 2001 crosses fiscal boundaries, and so we've actually have the revenue obligated to us for 2 payments in the next fiscal, or for one?
2 payments.
2 payments. So 50% of the revenue comes in next year, so that's a certain revenue.
Is it included here?
Yeah, it's included here, but in terms of the forecast for any additional 2001 revenue for water delivered next year, we've set that to a very low number, I think $50,000 or something like that.
Yes.
So again, we're going into a drought scenario that we won't have any revenue. We were fortunate we actually look better this year. Not much, but a little bit better this year than we did last year, but as consistent with board policies, we do not forecast revenues that, until we actually have the water. That would be a budget amendment sometime later.
Those are good amendments.
Yeah, those are good amendments. Those would be, and that's partially one reason that we were able to come in without a lower number in terms of the depletion of the reserves, because we did realize some additional revenues during the years. And there's other categories that we don't put in there. For example, another agenda item we'll have is there's a 2.75 million real property consideration, and that's not in this budget. Although we think that there's a high probability that will mature, since that money's not, that contract hasn't been signed, we don't put it in the budget.
You know what would be real helpful in the summary report, you should have a column over here of last year's budget. I mean, if it's not big, you might do it now, or but in the future, you can just to see
Yeah.
what it was last year and what it is this year. Without having, I mean, you can find it, you have to just go back through it.
Yeah, we might have to actually put a separate page because of the information changes a little bit.
Well, I mean, if it's a big deal, don't worry.
Well, not, well, I think that we have a page, the equivalent page. Oh, it's actually in there? Well, no, it's not.
For them, the revenue.
It's in the detail sheet.
No, I know that, that's why it's in the
The
detail,
summary.
but if we could have it on the summary sheet, then you don't have to go look it all up.
Sure.
The information's here, it's just to simplify the format, since
I think the accounts and everything, you know, we went through the budgets, we changed a lot of accounts and reorganized during the transition when Mary took it over. So it was difficult to do that initially, but now it's been stable for several years, I think we can do that.
well, I mean, it just makes it easier for us. We like it easy.
It'll just make the fonts a little smaller.
No, don't do that.
Then we have to make the paper bigger.
I wouldn't be able to read it.
Now, let me ask a question, on the revenue detail page, under the, at the top, under the number 4100, it shows, land assessments for PSB, LVWD, and underneath that, then it says PSB, LVWD owned, assessments. Now, of course, they're both tax exempt, so can you kind of explain why you're using that terminology?
The one is for leases, it probably should say lease instead of land.
Right. I
And
think
that's
I-
correct, is that fair?
I
Another
would-
one's for property they actually own under contract.
We do have the lease maintenance on other assessment fees. We count 40200.
Yeah, those are administrative fees on the leases, but they on 40100-02, where it says land assessments, that's the assessments on the leases, right? Not the administrative fees, that's actual assessments, the equivalent that they pay by contract.
You're talking about the land, of course, that land is privately owned, and it just gets taxed like all
Right,
the other
yeah,
areas of
that's
land.
exactly what that is. We just separated it out because it's two different parts of the contract.
On the licensing fees, the 405, your budget is $1 million, then you project 405. We project. Or maybe I'm not reading it correctly, but proposed budget's 405, but we've traditionally done $1 million. Am I right?
I'm not following you right now.
The
So we're
reduction-
on the first page?
I'm on the
Yes.
first page,
Right.
40210, licensing fees, 405. But it seems like in the past it's been over $1 million.
The reason for the reduction, Mr. Devan, is that we have received the final payment on license 1300 from the city, which was about 550,000 to 190,000. So this fiscal year was the final payment. We will not be receiving it.
Oh, okay, so we got it early then.
Well, that was on the crossings, remember we allowed them, you all allowed them to make yearly payments?
And that final payment was made this fiscal year, so next fiscal there won't be any, so that's why.
So we'll be expecting that, so.
Yeah, so there'll be that big reduction in the fees.
I got you.
send us a check anyway?
Yeah.
Oh,
We could use it.
I don't think so.
How many years was that, 3 years or 5 years?
3 years, executed
3
in
years.
January of
I vaguely
2012.
remember that, they
Yeah,
gave us
that's
3 years
why.
to pay.
And it was a 3-year, pretty much broken in thirds, about 550,000 each.
So how are we gonna make it up?
We're working on the lease agreements on the drains.
Right.
Today, started today.
There you go.
We've got a significant amount of licenses today.
all right. Expenses, Aaron?
The proposed expense increase is due to our capital assets, which is equipment purchases and our capital projects. That's a majority of our proposed increase.
That's what I thought. Oh, that's what I read. Figured it out.
So the estimated funds balance as of August 31st, 2015, if this proposed budget is approved, would leave us at 1.4 million. But this, as Dr. Blair has explained, it's pending the 2.75 that we should be receiving in the next month or so, which would leave our balance at 4,204,236.
Say that again, then you want, if we're
With
getting
the-
an additional,
With the addition of the proposed sale of the drain, the additional 2.75 million will leave our ending balance for 2015 at 4.2 million.
okay, if you add that to 1.4.
Correct.
Well, and that 973 is quite a bit. I mean, we haven't spent a whole lot on capital.
You know, one of the-
We didn't do anything last year.
Last year,
We
we
kept thinking the dam filled up.
100,000 or something. So it's a
Yeah.
huge increase. The next question is the construction projects. Are most of those reimbursable? I mean, we gotta spend this money, we get it back.
You know, I think what we should do is go through all the capital projects one by one.
The next,
There'll be a lot of questions. We have a PowerPoint presentation on all the items.
Well, just in general, are they reimbursable?
Some are and some aren't, and some are its fractional parts. And so we need to go over each of that. Each one has its own.
Can you just give me a bottom line about what the total is gonna be reimbursed?
You know, I don't, I think you've done that, right? You've
Mary
broken out
can-
the reimbursements. You want to go over this proportion that's reimbursable?
for the Texas Water Development, the
I mean,
proposed
total, huh?
is 600,000, and we're scheduled to receive 200,000.
Yeah, you've got them in category. I think he wants to look at the total. You categorize it.
We're talking about spending 1.4. What is the reimbursement?
564,800 is the reimbursement
Total.
total.
Okay, so that
It's
leaves
on
us
line 30 on the first page.
900,000.
Line 29 and line 30, 764,000.
Oh, yeah, 764, right, there's two.
Right, it's 564 for the railroad and
Oh, okay.
And
200 for
100,000
the
for the
Texas Water Development.
764,000,
Yes.
we're talking about, it's about 50%. So it's, right?
Is that right about half?
It's 14.
It's each project is unique,
Okay.
and we do it by
No, I'm
project.
talking just in total. If
Yeah.
we're bringing in 700.
That's what the
spending
numbers
1.4.
are, and that's what the numbers are. I mean, we've separated them out.
Right.
But they're,
We're gonna spend 1.4, bring in 700 or something, so I mean, that's close to 50. I'm a round figures guy, I don't get.
you don't care about, we care about the specifics of the project and the contract. so.
I'm just looking at, I'm not looking at the minutia, I'm looking at the totals.
And keep in mind that the Texas Water Development Board grant, we've got up to 3 years to do that project. So we're not necessarily.
But you got a budget
Tied
this
in.
year.
No, we've got budgeted for this year, it looks like it's, we were worried initially on that project that we have this large railroad project that has to be complete this year. There's no option. The Water Development Board has an option to do it this year, next year. I would think we wouldn't want to wait for the third year. And so,
Well, that's a $600,000 job.
Right, so but we weren't sure we could get all of the railroad done this year and do the other one, but now it's looking, as we finish up the design on the railroad, that we can do both projects this year, or at least substantially start the water development board project, so we'd like to keep it in the budget for this year.
Right, and
Unless the board wants us to move it.
No, I like seeing it, even if we don't get there, I like seeing it there.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, our design has changed so significantly on the railroad project that we probably didn't have the resources to construct both projects this year. But today, and we're much closer to the final design, it does look like we do have the resources.
What's the difference?
Huge difference. We were,
No, I mean, what did you change to make the difference?
well, initially, it had to do with a structural change in the way the crossings were being done. The railroad wanted to go with a reinforced concrete pipe, and there are rules, and just the thickness of the pipe required that pipe be placed much deeper under the railroad track than steel pipe. We're now going with 5/8 inch thick steel pipe, which, yeah, it's fairly, and it can be placed much closer to the tracks. That brings the invert, the bottom of the pipe, up to about the bottom of the canal. So now we have surface transitions, wing walls and warp concrete surfaces, pavement. Before we had deep head 12-inch head boxes that were going down as deep as 10 feet. So we had OSHA issues, setback issues, right-of-way issues, dewatering issues. All those have gone away.
What about the longevity of that steel pipe?
It's going to be an epoxy coated pipe. And,
5/8, you said?
5/8, and most of these are
Steel?
steel. We've had pretty good luck with mild steel as opposed to the problems we've had with galvanized 16 gauge thin stuff. And some of that stuff is made in 30 years. I'm saying. Some of it's made in 10 years.
But steel rusts and concrete doesn't, so.
Yeah, but concrete has alignment issues, it's short joints, extremely heavy bedding's very critical, so you can everyone's gasketed. Oops, excuse me, I forgot to turn off my phone.
No, I know it's a lot more problematic.
So each of them has their problems, and,
It'd be a minimum of 6 feet below the tracks with the concrete, minimum of 6, the top of the box, so that would put they had a 4-foot box, it'd be 10 feet.
no, we're confident, the railroad's confident the steel will be long, and we're looking at 75+
What do you
years.
do when you weld that stuff? You have somebody recoat it?
Yeah, it's recoated with it, but everything's supposed to be, they've got that system down, so they're gonna have it, I think it's gonna be lifted and, it's gonna be pre-welded on the sides like they do pipelines, and then they'll set it in with frame. So you guys, by the way, we could talk about that project, but since we're on it just really briefly, it'll be welcome. We've got those guys definitely know how to construct stuff, so there'll be outages on the track for 6 hours, 12 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours every Tuesday during this fall and winter. And that's when they'll go in, and in 6 hours, they'll have nothing, and at the end of 6 hours, they'll have the pipeline installed. And then we come in outside of their right-of-ways after that fact and do the finish work.
They're gonna do everything
6 hours and then
under the track, you do everything on the ends.
Right.
They're gonna extend their pipe from their throughout their entire right of way, which is 50 feet to both sides of the main track, 100 feet. So their pipe is gonna cover their entire 100-foot section. And then at that point, we'll come in and transition to the new, to the alignment to the existing.
They're gonna do that this year? They already got the
This year,
property?
they've already released the bids.
Wow.
They start October
7th is the first Tuesday they're gonna cut the rail.
Having said that there's a reduction in the engineering cost and engineering time, is this still a valid figure, the 794,000, or would it change?
Our work would probably, this was for material, so it probably will go down.
It'd be less than.
It'll be less, but they've agreed to that number right now because, everything's moving so quickly. This change just was approved. We actually got the official
So they're
yesterday.
They're gonna pay us that, and you're gonna do it for half?
It's a reimbursement. It's a reimbursement contract, so we have to produce hours worked and
Just trying to-
material spent. And,
Trying to reduce that little big $4 million figure there at the end.
well,
Actually, I got one question, the
Yes.
fuel maintenance, well maintenance and fuel,
Uh-huh.
that big difference of about 2 million,
Uh-huh.
why? I mean, you anticipate, we're looking at 61,700. Yeah. Am I seeing right?
No, the figure you're seeing at the bottom is the total figure for the whole column,
What page are we on?
Oh, okay, okay.
from the top to the
No
bottom.
wonder.
Yeah, the well maintenance is just the line that you see across, which is
584.
So that figure, I.
proposed is 34,000.
Okay.
I think it's on the last page of expenses.
Yeah.
61.7.
I did-
Well, so many times,
that-
for some reason.
Going back to the railroad project, that is one of the questions that I asked was, what was the lifespan of that material? And they said 75 years, so I said, well, my ears won't be buzzing, or I really won't care 75 years from now, so.
You never know. You may live to be 200.
Not to worry.
Well, at least 150, yeah.
But this last project, the project that they constructed when they built the railroad was in 1920.
There's a couple of notes.
So that the existing crossings have been in there since 1920.
That's when they built them good.
You know what's strange about mild steel down in our water is like when we replaced some of the head gates at Hudspeth years ago, we had some, of course, this is Hudspeth, they had built their gates out of the old railroad, the narrower gauge railroad that they replaced.
Yeah.
And I asked them when they had done that, they said, well, that was like 1908 or something like that when they switched to the bigger track. And those railroad lengths had been underwater for that'd be, whatever, 1920 till we replaced them for 70, 80 years, and there was zero corrosion underwater, zero.
That's when they made good material back
Made good
back
steel.
then.
Mary, so that 4.5 deficit does not include the possible 2.75,
Correct, which
which would bring us down to so we could be looking at a 4.2 budget, estimated funds balance at the end of next year
correct.
versus a
1.54.
5.9.
There'll be three significant revenue items that we anticipate that are not in this budget, and that is the 2.75 for the sale of the playa,
If the playa is sold, we're looking, and that's the only income that would still bring us about to where we are this year, another 1.7 deficit.
about the same. And then we would have the 2001 contract, which would, if we can do the same thing we did this year, which who knows, but it's looking better this year, but it's so early, that would be about, what was the revenue on that, 800,000, something like that? So about half of that would be realized next year, so that'd be another, say, $500,000.
The biggest variance in this coming year's budget is capital investments. Let's go through that and make sure
Sure,
we need all.
that's what we're ready to do.
Okay.
That's the biggie, the rest of it's pretty much the same. So we need to see, do we really need these things?
So that's on the second page, right after the summary.
Right.
And
We have a presentation and Pete will be presenting.
You put Pete on the hot seat. You better explain why you need this thing.
Is that a target?
Just broke in. You ever change the oil?
yeah, that's good. That's the miles we buy on that.
That's what I'm talking about, it's just broken in.
Okay. What we're doing here is kind of replacing some of the very old equipment we have. The next few pictures here, I requested for 3 one-ton trucks. 2 of them will be service trucks, 1 will be a utility truck. Off to the right, you'll kind of see the miles that are on the trucks and some of the problems that we've had with these pickups. This one here is one of the service trucks for the shop. As you can see, it's 99, 118,000 miles. All of these are gasoline engine vehicles. This truck is one of our worst ones. We've had to do work to the transmission twice already. We've had to, we need to do some suspension work. And also the engine, I'm thinking it's gonna be giving out pretty soon, it's lacking power.
Is that a standard or?
That's automatic,
It's automatic and you still lost the transmission?
yes. We've got the two transmissions. The next one is also a service truck, 1998, 154,000 miles. Same thing here. This one's in a little bit of better shape, but as you can tell, it's 2,500. That's basically what, 3/4 ton truck? And with the weight these trucks are carrying, you know, this has actually been a pretty good truck. And then the final one is the 96 3500. This is one of our utility trucks. This truck is actually the truck that's assigned to the Unit 6 area. And this one here, we've actually had to remove the bed in the back and had to weld the chassis because the chassis actually broke. So we had to install some plates in it. And it's just a matter of time before we start getting some more stress cracks on those on that chassis. So those are the 3 utility trucks or service trucks that I'm requesting to purchase, and that's what I'm looking to replace them with. These are basically the same trucks that we got right now, what we've been replacing their feet with. They're 1-ton diesel trucks, dualies. On the service trucks, we'll probably go with a different bed on it. Something that's got more cabinets or more toolboxes. But as far as the utility truck, it'll be identical to that one.
And they're diesels.
And they're all diesels.
And these are the trucks that go out and actually service the excavators, all the equipment that stays out in the field and the wells.
They're F-350s or 350s, right?
Which one's that?
You said dualies, 350s?
Yes, sir. To replace them with the F-350s, yes, sir. And that's the first item there on the capital equipment purchase. These here, I'll let Robert these are Robert's trucks.
On May, I just got 2 trucks, and this one's, one of the supervisor's trucks, this is driven by Carmona. This is 2003, originally it was my truck. It's been used by me, by Kathy, Sulema, and now Carmona. And it's got quite a few miles, but being that this year I'm not asking for discharge trucks, they're still in pretty good shape, and I'm hoping to keep what I got now in the fleet of discharge for at least another 2 years. I'm wanting to replace this one, and this truck there belongs to the Rick Carries in it also, 2003, and this is old Frank Martin's old truck, and it's got 161,000. But also with this fleet, what I want to do with these are crew cabs. 5 men can fit on it. When we do shotcrete, these regular discharge trucks only can take 2 men out to the field. This thing can take 5. And this way, when instead of taking 5 trucks out there in shotcrete, you can only need to take these 2 out there, and it saves us a lot of wear and tear on the trucks. And also, being that we're carpooling also from Unit 6 down here, those are 5 guys up there, instead of bringing 3 trucks down here, we can only use 1. So we're trying at the same time, I'm trying to do is save, buy 2 new trucks for the supervisors, but also use these as also transportation to carry more men around to the job site.
Not sell it, keep hold of these.
Keep them, because they do come in handy as far as like in the shotcrete where it takes 11 to 12 men on the shotcrete, and we're having to take almost like 5 trucks. We only need to take the 2 out there. And, we don't have so many trucks, because when you're doing a shotcrete, you got our trucks, and then you got the cement trucks, and it's a big mess out there. The less trucks out there, I think the better off we are. But again, these trucks have been used widely, but the supervisors, in a year's time, they'll put 20,000 miles on them. So they're in the 60s, or in 160,000. Next year, they'll bring them up to 180, and like I said, they're almost coming up to 10 years old. They've had a lot of ditch bank hours on them. They've been good trucks, and I think they can still continue being good trucks, but they're just, to use them widely, I just want to see if we can use them also for the winter maintenance to get around a bit more. Because that's also with like I was talking to Chewy earlier, I got 7 good discharge trucks, and being that the drought has been with us in such a long time, once the water season comes to an end, I normally park them, don't use them. And the return flow, I use the older trucks to keep them going and it saves them. And I'm telling you, hopefully going that route, not asking for a fleet this year, I was thinking I have to ask for a fleet next year. It will be till year 2016 that I'll need a fleet. But the 3/4 trucks have been able to hold up a lot better when we're using half-ton trucks on the operation. And like Pete was saying earlier, the chassis crack on them. I mean, we're having all kind of problems. These 3/4 trucks have really held up pretty good, and we're able to get a good deal on them. But again, that's entirely up to you guys. I can only tell you what we need to kind of do as far as the operation. You know, we're still sitting real good with the river team, the trailers that they want to touch space with us. The supervisors get 2 of these out of the way while we can. And then this year's the next one.
The next item would be the backhoes. What we've done here with the backhoes is I removed one of the backhoes and I went ahead and put I would say just a utility tractor or just a tractor. And I'll explain to you why. But this backhoe here, this is a 99 case backhoe with 11,000 hours on it, very close to 12,000 hours. As you can see right there, right underneath the cab there on the boom, it's been welded. I had about a good, I would say, 1/4 inch crack on that boom. That backhoe is not used for any lifting or it's just strictly digging. Because I just don't, it's a cast iron boom, and as you all know, cast iron's a little hard, a little bit tricky to weld. So to replace that boom, we're looking at over $10,000 to replace that boom. Now, is it feasible? I don't know. Now, the boom also's got stress cracks throughout the boom. So I'm requested to go ahead and buy a 410 backhoe or something equivalent to a 410 backhoe, which I'm still pricing. I'm pretty sure I can get it a little bit cheaper than what's here, but you know, that pretty much is the safe number what we put here on the budget.
You're asking for 2 backhoes or 1?
One backhoe.
Change that.
And yes, we changed the other, instead of buying another backhoe, which I think we should be okay for another couple of years. I went ahead, well, here's a tractor that I'm proposing to buy. This is a Volvo backhoe, and it's coming in at about 90 grand to where deer and cat are extremely more expensive. Really? Quite a bit. I mean, we're looking at a difference of almost 60 grand.
They probably a lot better too.
Are we changing the budget?
No. I'm keeping the numbers the same, Al, for the simple reason that this is the other tractor that I'm proposing to replace.
Pay back to the backhoe.
Yes, sir.
You've already got, you have decent backhoes. How many do you already have right now?
We have one at the Leo's yard, one in the Fabian's yard, and one in the Galutillo yard, and 2 here.
And you've got
So we got a total of 5, yes, sir.
5, and they're all in good shape. And this other one, this case, how many other cases do you have?
That's the last one we have. We've only got one other backhoe that's on the old side, and that's I believe it's a 310. But it's in fairly good shape. That's the one that came from the Upper Valley, and it's in fairly good shape.
11,000 hours is not that many hours. I mean, that tractor should have a lot more life and not have crack booms and stuff. That's the reason I was wondering if you had any other. I mean, it's a lot of hours, but in reality, those things will run 20,000 hours.
Yeah. No, and you know, that's the thing that I've noticed that our other backhoes, all the booms are steel. You've got your tips, like where the cylinders come in, only that section there is cast iron. This one here, the whole boom is cast iron. And I don't know if that's got something to do with it, or, but,
That's what breaks cast irons, vibration and stuff, where it doesn't affect steel. There's no good in cast iron.
How old's the case? How old is it?
it's, I believe, 1999.
99?
Yes, sir.
Are we staying consistent with a specific brand, or we just get the flavor of the year or whatever?
No, actually, what I looked at this year, Miguel, is I got some pricing from John Deere, and I got some pricing from Volvo.
Because at some point or another, we establish a pretty good idea as to what's quality and what isn't. In my you know, case has never been in the upper echelons of equipment in my book, but, you know, but there's gotta be a standard that we as a district will entertain, so to speak. And even to the point where we would like to use parts that are consistent. I mean, we don't wanna be using 3 or 4 different, 5 different manufacturers. I mean, we probably wanna be sticking with 1 or 2 different manufacturers. But I don't know how, what has been
The majority of our fleet will be either Caterpillar, John Deere, or Volvo. After this backhoe here, we've got the skid loader, that's a Case. I think that will be the last.
How many other Volvos do you have?
Volvos, we got 2 long reaches and 2 rubber tire excavators, so I think we got a total of 4.
Okay, so you got 2 excavator, Volvo excavators, and
Yes.
2,
Rubber tire excavators.
and then 2 backhoe.
Do you like their performance?
Yes. Yeah. You know, the excavators here, the last one, the booms are real stout, they're strong.
Good equipment, you
Yes.
consider it good equipment?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and that is the reason that I spoke to the Volvo representative, was because of their past history. I've also spoken to other entities that have used the Volvo, like for example, El Paso County and El Paso Water Utilities, and they're also very satisfied with the Volvo.
And they're how much cheaper?
About 67,000.
Per each? They're the same size?
A 410, this is more equivalent to a 310, but with the power of a 410. It's got the size of a 310, but the weight and the power of a 410. This will give the
So it's more comparable to a 310 then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's, the difference would be 60,000?
That would be a little bit less, yes.
Probably.
And like I said, but this tractor here is kind of like in between the 410 and the 310.
When you go up and each number seems to be like $10,000 to $15,000 difference, and same tractor, only bigger.
Now, again, keep in mind that, you know, if given the approval, I will go back and I will entertain Cat, John Deere, and Volvo, and try to get the best numbers I can from there. Now, all these backhoes, we're trying to purchase them under a state purchase, which is, there's some discounts that will also will apply.
Just make sure you're getting, you know, apples for apples and not,
Yes.
not buying an orange instead of an apple or whatever.
Right.
I think one thing we learned on the state purchases, I mean, Pete's got to judge it case by case, but it might not hurt to go out and get bids. We can always fall back to the state purchases. And
Just make sure that it's what you want though, I mean, because that's a huge amount of difference for light machinery. And I'm not saying it's not wrong, but it brings a question in my mind is if you're getting the same thing. And just make sure we're all for saving money, and if it's what you want, what you need, and it'll work for what you need, well, it doesn't matter whether.
Well, what I'm looking at, Johnny, is not only to save money, but try to get the best for our money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we gotta get,
I don't want
we gotta be able to utilize it, you know, a lot of times, the reason we bought the cases, I have a feeling, is because they were a lot less expensive, but there's a reason they're a lot less expensive.
Now, both backhoes would be extendables, so. Now, this is the other tractor that I was talking about, the one I substituted the other backhoe with. This tractor here is utilized for, as you can see, our disc, our Fresno. We're gonna start using the compactors that we purchased, that True purchased through that government auction. And also our gator pumps, when we go out there and drop these pumps in the drains, this is the tractor that's used. As you can see, it's just a matter of time before that, you can see the leaks on the side of that tractor. It's an old tired tractor. It doesn't have a lot of hours. I even questioned that. I questioned it.
That's not an hours for an old Ford.
But I think this is a tractor that I'd hate to lose when I need it the most.
It's a get or done tractor, huh?
Pretty much. And we're keeping another one that's similar to this one, that's a mower, that's got a mower attachment to it, but that's still a very good tractor.
You'll keep this machine, right? I mean, the tractor to utilize it, and plan on getting rid of it, 'cause you're not gonna get much for it.
Right. But yeah, the best thing to do is go ahead and utilize it till it keeps it, till the last leg. But this is what I substituted the other backhoe with.
I still have a 6610, which is about a 1980 something or other. It's one of the few models of Ford tractors that they make really well.
It's turned out to be a
They
very good
last
tractor.
for a long time, yeah.
That actually had a more attachment to it, and we removed the more attachment to it and started utilizing it as a.
I still buy your color scheme is when they weren't sure if they were New Holland or Ford.
Well, no, they just replaced the windows, because I got the windows vandalized, that's actually tape. That's tape there on the window.
International.
Okay, so you want one backhoe, and you're talking about
One truck.
$90,000 if you do a Volvo.
Yes, sir.
And you want, and then you want to change for a tractor,
Yes, sir.
and the tractor is gonna cost,
Well, I've got an estimate on a John Deere. Let me see the size. I think it's a 6125. Yes, it's a 6125 inch. And that's just the tractor. And he came in at about 85,000 on it. But there's a couple of things that I think I can change on it. For example, there's some fees for for the controls, whether they be cable or hydraulic. That'll save us something like a couple of $1,000.
no, you're reducing the total deal about $15,000 from what you initially had there. If you change that, and that's the prices, it's about $15,000 less than what you.
6125 is, what is that, about a 95 horse or?
And both these tractors got that ID2 transmission on them.
145? Is that what that means? They changed all the numbers, I know, I
Must be
can't.
some significance.
You
behind
had a
it.
picture of that
I
tractor
can't
you
figure
looked
it
at,
out.
didn't you?
It has a cab on it, right?
Yes,
Here they are.
yes. No, this is actually the 7130.
No, that's a 7130.
Yeah, that's a bigger
bigger tractor.
Yeah, no, I don't think you.
Okay.
This is the last minute.
Well, that's all right. I just, that M means something too, down here, 6125, M means more strict. It doesn't have all the fancy stuff.
Right.
The stuff you don't really need, you know.
Right.
Minimal.
And
Unless
again,
it's, unless art's in there, and I don't want the M, I want all the fancy stuff.
and again, on these pricing also, there's warranties, that are like 5 years, 7 years, 5,000 hours, which is also optional once, you know, if approved, then we can sit down
No,
and see.
actually, you'd be saving $25,000 if you bought
Sure.
a $90,000 Volvo, yeah.
There's all, this is his budget process, obviously every one of these has to come back to the purchase time.
Right.
Yeah, but if we approve it, he's going to go out.
He's gonna go out and do it. You don't have to, you still have, I'm saying you get a second chance to say no.
Well, no, if it does get approved, what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll get you final numbers, which will be exact numbers.
Yeah, we understand that, but if we say no, you don't have to waste your time.
Very true.
Maybe?
Okay, we're also on the budget, we've requested two mowers. These are the drain mowers, these are the big 7130s. Right now, I've got two of these mowers that is pretty much cleaning up the whole 350 miles of drains that we have.
Are you talking tractor and more, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm talking about, just like you see this one here. Okay, those are the 7130s. Apparently, what I was told is the 7130s no longer made. They've gone to a 6000 series now. That's what it looks like now. That's a
What's wrong
6140.
with the tractor? Can't you just replace the mower?
I'm sorry?
Those tractors shouldn't be that worn out. How can you just replace the mower?
The problem is we're not keeping up with our maintenance.
Yeah.
Well, the
But
track-
we're asking for two additional.
Yeah, we're
They're gonna be
asking
working
two
for additional.
more. We're not replacing these, no, no. We need two more.
Yeah.
Actually, we need four more.
The Beetle's not keeping them.
No, I don't know what happened to
The
the Beatles.
Beatles
They're no longer
disappeared for
around.
some reason.
They disappeared out, it was on the news this morning, some guy was driving the 80 Salt Cedar behind his house.
Nah, they jumped up to the upper alley.
Just go cut it down, I mean,
There's two-seater up there.
It started, but a lot later this year.
What-
They did, it was crazy.
stopped and started again.
What's happening is, and Pete can tell you, is the amount of complaints that with urbanization that we get of maintaining the drains cut and in good shape. And we just can't keep up with the two mowers that we have. You know, we move them up the valley and concentrate on that for a while and bring them back down the valley. And
Have you ever kept score of the complaints for doing it and complaints for not doing it? We have to really balance it.
well,
Some of the people want them.
yeah, we used to get complaints of people not wanting you to cut, but now we're just flooded with complaints of
Because of the fire up there, I guess.
Yeah.
Got everybody's attention.
Well, people are panicking because of the West Nile and
The brush doesn't do anything about that.
they blame everything on the drains.
Well,
They're
if
so overgrown.
the water's not running, it might be a problem, but
Unfortunately, we're not getting water down the river or down the drains where we're getting it from above. And it seems like that's got fertilizer in it or something, because I'll tell you what,
No,
they're
it does.
going like crazy.
you're right, it does. Anything grows twice as fast as rainwater. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are requesting 2 more additional mowers.
And Pete and I talked
Tractors.
this morning, we could actually cut it down to 1 and, you know, do the best we can with 3.
I have a hard time worrying about that aspect when we're in the drought and our drains are not that big a deal to get us through the drought. In spite of the complaints from the urban folks.
Well, I mean, we use them for the canals too, we're having a heavy vegetation running from the canals.
Okay.
And how
On the Riverside Canal.
Is the Roundup working?
But it's, you know how, well, you guys all know that, once we got the last crop, now we're on a new crop, so.
Well, it's the same with mowing. When
But
it
you-
runs, it lasts a lot longer.
But Larry, you can't use a Roundup really on the canals because then you lose all vegetation. And then it's
Yeah, that's another problem that we had is you start getting these canals that start sloughing in because you got nothing holding those banks
Yeah,
together.
you need to have some-
Wait till all the salt cedar goes in. Then the beetle comes around and kills the salt cedar.
I don't know, guys, I have a hard time thinking we need those tractors. And I know y'all are pressed, but that's a lot of money, $400,000. Still, it's half of what you're talking about needing.
They,
And I don't really feel that the utilities there, I'm just gonna tell you straight.
and the prices of these tractors did, it seems like all the equipment has, the prices, has just,
That's a given.
all these tractors are coming out now with these tier 4 engines, and that's what they blame it to. But I mean, the increase has been tremendous.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the rest of the board feels, but I have a problem with it. I really
How
don't.
many do we
This
have?
year, I don't think we need.
How many do we have?
Two.
We bought those about, what, 4 years ago?
We bought them, I think it's going on 7 years.
Yeah, it's been more than that,
Yeah.
because a couple of years ago,
Okay, so
about
you got
4 years
two.
ago, I did come to the board and requested 2 tractors at that time also.
It's not hard work on the tractor, the hard work's on the mower part of it.
Right.
It's minimal work. You gotta have a bigger tractor, big support, get out of the way, and the hydraulic system too. I don't know, it's up to the rest of the board. I would.
What about 1? How bad are you behind?
Very good. I mean, I don't, even with 2 more, I don't think I'll ever catch up. It's, the drains is just a different beast, and she was absolutely right, with the complaints that come in, I'm having to pull the tractors and kind of just take care of little hot spots.
I guess you can say
They're mostly
words
urban?
to me then.
Are they mostly urban?
Most of the
Here's the point, you don't really need those drains in this drought, and I mean, we're looking at huge deficits, and we're talking about spending $400,000 on something that really doesn't add to our district. The operation to get us through the drought, that's my problem with it. If we were in good shape and we had, and if all it is urban complaints, I'm sorry, but it doesn't help the rest of our taxpayers.
The majority is.
I kinda like it, yeah, when Robert starts calling himself 4 foot again, then maybe.
Not measure 4 foot, deliver 4.
Okay.
Okay, the next one here is a couple of traders. Back, a couple of months back, we did sell some of our older traders that were kind of a little on the beat up side. So I'm requesting to buy another 3 traders. We did sell, I think it was what, 4 trees?
Yeah, they had there again, the frames were cracked and
Yeah,
they were starting to get damaged.
Those things don't last when you really use them.
they were worked out. And, you know, with all the projects that we've got, you know, these big projects, I really need some trailers to carry our material around. And I'm requesting to buy 2 trailers like similar to this one here, and one with the dump, this one here. This one here can be utilized both by us and by operations. Robert's been wanting to take that from us. So, there you go.
How much do we need to
Blame
change
it
it?
on Robert, I love it. Oh, he's backing up.
Put my name on it.
Is that another cost change, or you can?
No, that's-
Three
that's-
within that budget?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, that budget there includes all 3 trailers.
Now, these trailers can be, they're really not necessary for day-to-day use, or they could be used for capital improvement projects that can be attributed to the expense of that particular project. In other words, if you need trailers, you buy the trailer for that project.
Well, we'll definitely have a rate for all those, our equipment, so that on the projects that allow us to charge rates and the trailers used on, we'll charge it out.
Can it be
The trailers aren't very big rates.
I mean, a trailer's easy, I'm thinking it can be easily reimbursed as part of the cost of the project.
For every, you know, with those things, we work off a FEMA schedule, which most people have accepted, and it's a fairly decent schedule. And that's what we've adopted as the district schedule, and we accelerate it for changes. So it depends on like, we only use it for 1 day, then we get a daily rate. If we use it for more than 3 days, it switches to weekly, because it's cheaper. And then if it switches to that, but a trailer, I tell you right now, on that rate deal with trailers, is probably the lowest thing on that rate deal. I don't know how much we get a day, but $25?
Less.
Less. So,
In fact, every reimbursable project that I do, I do charge out trailers. So I've been doing that here for
Trailers,
6 years.
trucks,
so
everything
everybody
we charge.
has a capital expenditure, and we would build it out.
Yeah, we build it up, try to recover what we can.
Recover the cost.
But these trailers will be used quite often. They're not trailers that are just gonna be parked and used only during the larger projects. I've constantly got needs for trailers.
Yeah, you use them for hauling turnouts, and
Yes.
for materials, and for all the stuff, if there's support.
So I'm requesting to buy 3 of those trailers, 2 of the smaller ones and this larger one. The next one is a compressor. The compressor here, we own a compressor already, good shape. I'm requesting to add another compressor. Now, this one here it's been already 3 years that I'm having to go out and rent compressors to run the second shotcrete pump. And it might be feasible just to own our own instead of just continue
I'm
renting.
surprised you don't have a compressor.
I'm sorry?
We have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have one, but
We run 2 crews.
Yeah, we have 2
So we rent the second one.
You use it.
We got this part, we're gonna do a lot of shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one will recover the cost of it this year.
I'm sure you rented enough to pay for another compressor already.
yes.
I mean, the rentals, we get 100%, so that's fully reimbursable, and these projects that have reimbursement, but, you know, we'll charge effectively the rental rates. So we'll
Same
probably
thing.
recover it.
To pay for it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a given with the projects that you have coming up.
Now, the next item on the list would be something,
That's mine.
you want to take care of it, or should we skip it?
The crane? No, crane.
Oh, yeah, where's the crane?
Sitting there already in the same place the mower went.
It just permanently went there. I'll have to wait for 5 feet, not 4 feet. The computer workstations have to do with the security audit. We're running, you know, Microsoft stopped security support of the XP platform this year. We have numerous XP machines that are so. How old are those machines? Well, most people weren't here. I think, Chewy, you weren't even here. I'm the only one. We're the only ones that were here. You were there. Some of these machines predate.
They only get,
You were here.
they only get old whenever Robert and I weren't here. Then they're old, right?
These are going back to about when we took it over for reclamation. It's about 95, 96. Anyway.
We already discussed this, really. I mean, I know in closed session we did discuss the need
Yeah,
of these things and what.
But these are, so, obviously, we have about 10 machines that have to be replaced, but one of the problems we have is sort of along the same with equipment, is one thing that really drives up maintenance cost and frustration level too with staff is, this, multiple platforms of PCs, because each one has different hardware support issues, they actually have different software issues with them.
As far as I'm concerned, vote yes. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
We think that this will be a break, at least, if not a less, the cost for the replacement is equivalent or less than the cost of the maintenance of the system we got now. Plus the security issue just says we gotta replace about 10 of them.
Yeah, stick to a brand and run with it, just stop
Yeah.
bouncing
So
out.
we're sticking right now, we started off IBM, as an IBM office, they switched, the fiber switched to compact HP, but we're pretty much back now, so Lenovo's, we're staying with all. We'd be able to know what we're replacing.
It'll be all the same.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Dell?
Communication.
Well, you know, our last replacement was Dell, we had a lot of problems, a series of problems with the Dell system. And I think it wasn't so much Dell as the particular models that they were replacing with, but, we
This way
decided,
you're compatible straight across the board.
Straight across the board.
pretty much the last two purchases were Lenovo, so.
You'll be using what, the latest operating system from Microsoft? or-
You know, we haven't fully, the corporate, the sort of the standard in the corporate is Windows 7.
They didn't like Windows 8, right?
Yeah, Windows 8 has some other issues. We, of course, the previous IT guy deployed Windows 8 without my endorsement. We're still in discussions with our consultant on that, so we haven't decided. But it-
Will that affect this price?
No.
You're talking hardware without any software?
No, they all come with the operating
With
system.
something on it.
I don't, we're trying to recycle all of our licenses. I mean, we'll remove our,
That's a big expense, right?
yeah, we'll remove our Office. It's mainly Office.
Okay.
And we already have all our licenses.
Yeah, I think we have the
purchased. Yeah,
licenses.
that was one of the, under Lisa's, credit card, we had to update all those licenses, they had expired, so we're set
Yeah,
for.
we're not making a request for any new software. We've already taken care of that, part of the security
I'm okay
issue.
with that.
These are just, this hardware plus the operating system, but to answer your question, we're not sure whether it's gonna be 7 or 8.1. We do have 8.1 deployed. And it's just a question of whether we regress back, it hasn't been fully answered.
I didn't know there was an 8.1, so they've made some fixes to those original
Yeah, the problem's
glitches.
made up.
Yeah.
To fix the screw ups.
They fixed their screw, 8.1, there might be an 8.2 pretty quick.
We're waiting, I guess 8.1 is significantly better and may be accepted by the corporate people will see. So it's just too new, it just came out.
Touchscreen, right?
Well, I don't think any of ours are gonna be touchscreen, some of the laptops are, and the tablets, but anyways, I think it's necessary.
Anybody have a problem with those?
No,
No, I don't.
No.
we kind of discussed it last time, didn't we?
Yeah, we've discussed the need for it, or we need for it. What I like about it, be compatible, everything be the same, you got all.
We are going, I mean, we found significant benefit to all-in-one machines, in other words, that these have the computer built into the monitor, and then we have less space, less cords, less problems, and they're easier just to swap out.
Sure. All right, D8 Dozer.
Next one is the D8, or that equipment overhaul. D8, that's what's needed with it. Pins, links on the tracks need to replace, the cylinders to replace or to raise the blade in the front, which repacking. In order to do this job, it's got to be contracted out. We just don't have the tools or the equipment to do this type of job.
Not
But,
those trucks, especially the
Yeah.
cylinder, you can probably take.
and this is, this piece of equipment is very valuable to us, it's.
What does this sprocket look like in the back that runs those tracks?
It looks in pretty good shape. It's not,
It's not worn.
no, it's not too bad, no.
This
You
one,
you can almost.
Can you
see a
still
little bit.
tighten them?
I'm sorry?
Can you still tighten them?
Yes, but it's got some pins on there that we've, it's just a matter of time before they
Have you ever
snap.
turned the pins?
No, they're completely worn out.
So they never been turned?
They need
On the way
to be, they
around.
need to be replaced.
Okay, because they've been turned, because those things will wear on one side, and then you turn them the other side, and.
Yes.
But they're already been turned in.
Yes.
Well, if we don't get this one repaired, we'll have to rent one for the water dome board project.
Is that one actually running, Mayor?
That's it.
Yes, well, it's parked right now, but we had gotten an estimate for repairs that came in at, I think the lowest one was $52,000.
Right.
But now we had a gentleman come in that repaired one of our excavator tracks and did an excellent job and very economical. And
Lobos
he's-
Machinery.
Yeah, he's given us a price of,
Lobos Machinery?
he's given us a price of between $26,000 and $28,000 to.
Which is better. Just make sure that they use Caterpillar parts.
Yes.
Don't put any of those other parts.
Yeah, in fact, the estimate that we've got, Johnny, is Lobos Machinery will do all the labor, and we will buy the parts from Wagner.
Yeah, be sure and do that, because there's a great difference.
That is
You
included.
go through all that headache to get them there, and then they wear out in half the time, those other.
What are they, Chinese parts or?
Now,
I don't know, but they just wear out. Cat's the best, I mean, they cost a lot, but I mean, they're the best.
that's one of the pieces of equipment, and
Was that the different angle?
Yes.
that's in there. Yes, Your Honor.
We have any paint?
I'm sorry?
We have any paint? Make it look good.
Yes, we do. We can take it, we actually got.
And we have a painter.
We got a painter in-house, so.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be yellow, that's what looked white to me.
That used to be the old district brown.
no, I remember. I remember, I know where it came from. I just don't- I just remember we got bid 45,000, we're fixed to spend 50 on it. But that'll make it worth a lot more. Because
Yeah, well,
that's one of the first things people look at is that, the tracks, because that's an expensive repair.
And included with these, with this money here is also to repair this 312 excavator,
Oh,
which also, both cylinders need to be resealed. Also the track and the both idlers and forks on it need to be replaced on it.
Can the same guy make you bid on all of it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It'll be the same guy doing both machines.
Okay, well, this deal here says D8 dozer and well engines over.
Yes.
Yes.
That also
We
includes well
added the
engines.
312 to it. He told me that there was more things.
Yes.
And you're talking about $50,000 for all of that?
My question, is this a
Yes.
money, is this a money pit? I mean, $50,000 gonna cover this, or are we gonna come back to it again and find out?
No, actually, $50,000 is gonna cover several pieces of equipment. It's gonna cover both these equipment plus some wells.
Some
Yeah,
more.
those cats, I mean,
They last forever, because we're looking at like 30 years old now, cat.
That's only got 6,000 hours on it.
It's unbelievable, I had an old D8 that was a standard shift,
Still rocking and rolling? Wow.
That's got about 6,000 hours on it. It doesn't have
Ours
very
is
many hours
pretty
on it.
good.
all you gotta do is repair them, and then
Very good.
they last for.
In other words, I guess the 50,000 is sort of a general counter of engine repair for your equipment, your heavy equipment and the wells.
Right.
And he'll manage those funds the best he can.
Sure, as long as he brings it in at 30 or under, we're
I'll do my
I
best.
already, you gotta realize that Barry and I already whittled some of these numbers down quite a bit. We pretty well.
I'm all right with that.
And, oh, there's a picture of the 312 again.
Okay, the next device does predate us, right, Robert?
The next one is Robert's.
Those are old, Johnny, they're
Those-
before,
those are
before me
reclamation.
and you.
Yeah, they predate.
But
They look good to me.
these recorders, these are,
1964.
they were way back, these were way back before 1970,
Yeah, they're old, they're
early
pretty.
70s. They were here before I was here. That's old. But they're very good because this is what we use to meter, to record all our water levels. There's a float that goes right in there, and there's a shark that goes right in there and records the water level for the 24 hour, for a 7-day period. And that's what we use to,
That's all mechanical now, the new ones are digital.
no, it's still the same way now. They haven't changed.
That's good.
Well, we have telemetry, but we use the charts as the definitive system.
And they're very easy little thing. It's a clock that you move to a 7-day deal or, 14-day deal or a month, and move it over to the next, and then basically, what the river team was complaining about, they're very old, but move the next one, Jay. That they, what happens here is those things sit in that recorders and they have batteries right there, and they sit there for a whole year, and the acid eats up the blue container here. So what we were able to do now is we went back there and replaced these, and most of these clocks, we got them back there almost 100% operational, but we got 18 out there, and we're able to really repair about a good 10 of them. We just need down a good 10 that we have out there, and we priced them at almost $950. There are different models, but I was able to go back and look and found this model still being made, more current, a little bit better than they got here, and they come in right at $600.
So how much money do you want?
10 for about $6,000.
What?
Okay, so we're changing that budget item.
6,000.
No, you don't want 18, you want 10?
No, because we were able to, we found out that the river team had ordered 3, they're brand new, they're a different model, but they work pretty good, and we're able to order those old parts and get them replaced and so on.
What's the case made out of? Is it aluminum?
Plastic.
Really?
Yeah.
What road?
The battery.
The battery, and then it's that green terminal out there. and
Copper.
there.
There's copper inside the plastic.
And we're able to look in there, Johnny, but
The battery itself inside the machine.
Well, the connectors that link all the batteries together.
yeah,
See
the
right there,
reconnected, Johnny, and we're able to find these.
Look, you're tight. I just wondered.
No, they're watertight. Well, they're water resistant. They're not. It's the
But-
leakage from the batteries if we don't get them replaced.
Well, yeah, if you don't get them replaced.
And they're in there sitting in the recorder for year round, and they know during the summer, it must get about 125, 150 in there. And those batteries start leaking, and they ruin the connector there, but we're able to find them, we'll replace them, and believe it or not, they work like champ again. And they're old clocks, but, you know, they work perfect, and you need these to turn in for all the reports that we do for charging on all waters. And if they're requesting a charge, those are the ones that do all the charging. They're the Bibles of everything when it goes to water accounting. So instead of the 18, I was able to come down and I need a good 10.
10 at 600, you need $6,000, so that would change from 15 plus to 6,000.
That's
We can get my dump truck.
We'll keep you on for another 100 years, like you've already been here.
Okay.
Keep those reductions.
That's not good,
So what is the bottom line? You might have a clue.
Well, you want to go over each item, so the
534.
the backhoes, we reduced to 185,000 from 200,000. You removed the mowers, so that.
No, wait a minute. No,
What
it
was
didn't
the
say
one
that.
back home?
It was 90,000.
Two backhoes for 185.
There was a 90 and an 85, yeah.
The total, I'm just talking about the total.
175.
175.
175?
Yeah.
That's at 15,000.
175,000 is what we came up with that.
Well, which line item you talking about?
Volvo backhoes,
Yeah, that's right.
How much is
25,000, you're right.
there's a total of 175 for two.
Right.
So the total changes, the drain mowers you eliminated,
Where's I'm concerned?
so that's 0.
That's a good number, you know, when you're talking.
Trailers?
The trailers stay the
Trailers stay the
same, workstations stay the same, the compressors the same, the overhauls the same, and then the Stevens Class F clocks reduced to 6,000. So that's 25,
534.
plus 7, approximately 6, 8. Yeah, no, you get 5, I get 5, I got 437,000 reduction approximately.
Reduction.
Reduction.
Yeah, so the total's gonna be 500, he was figuring.
Oh, yeah,
534,
Okay, yeah, that's it.
round number,
Right.
534.
That's a nice number.
Oh, Phil?
Good morning, Harrison.
I should ask the Pete to take a look at Mike with
Your clock. They sell them, there's all kinds of car dealers up there, you can You can change the gas caps.
Well, I confirm that if you leave your dome light on all night, it'll cause you some bad
Yeah,
problems.
it sure will.
Yeah, I got 536, but
I got it right here.
Whatever, five,
Anyway,
don't worry about it.
530,
What'd you get?
make it 536.
five.
Oh, the reduction.
No, the
Well,
total.
what is the total? I came up with 534.
We came in with 536.
533.9.
See, 533.9.
533.9.
I rounded, I always round up.
Yeah, I know.
Even if the number's.
I round up 533.9, 533.
I round up if it's even
Total
100 over
534, see where
1,000.
Pete's gonna spend it, rush Pete's on. Okay.
Where's Pete? Are you crying? No.
No, I'm fine.
Hey,
I'll hear him cry later.
they changed, they,
I'll buy some rentals earlier.
One backhoe and one tractor.
One back, one tractor, yeah.
but the total was, what they're saying is 175.
There's 2 units.
2 units, yeah, for a total of 175,000.
Well, it definitely brings it down to, yeah,
We did.
439, 440,000. It goes to our plus side.
Doesn't make that.
See,
Well,
Pete,
I'll tell you what,
it switches over to our plus side.
I had real sticker shock when I saw that $4
I'm
million.
sorry. Johnny's probably right. Try and do the best you can with those,
Robert.
with the urban.
Hey, you didn't say it when we started.
Your trucks have an extra cab, right, for carrying more people, right?
1.7 on reduced to.
They're cool.
Okay, any other questions on the budget?
The old one?
Any other items?
I have a question. I'm just going back to the truck.
Where are you going? Oh, back over there, yeah.
When
Oh, yeah.
when we're doing the crews and we're doing concrete and so forth, do you have a crew of how many people, 10 people, 15 people?
At least, on the truck, what is it?
Nine guys.
9 guys.
9 guys. And you brought up a good point about not having extra vehicles laying around. Have we entertained possibly getting a little mini, not mini, a van or a school bus type?
Well, you see, a lot of times these trucks also pull the chocolate machines.
The machines and.
We need 2 trucks. We need 2 trucks, one for the compressor and the other one for the shotgun machine, so.
Okay, so you already have.
And they're 3/4 trucks with 4-wheel drive, so
Good.
they don't get stuck. I'm trying to get a little minivan in there.
Not needed.
Yeah. If you want a mule or a little. No, but you see, and we're also transporting the guys from Unit 6 down here, or even from here to Unit 6, depending on where the work is. Instead of sending 3 trucks down there, we just send these trucks, and they're in very good shape still, they're very well taken care of. And that would save us a lot of, having to, because if we send 3 trucks up there, 2 of them tend to get lost, they
Right.
pick up burritos and whatever they do.
No,
But this way, we get it to the job site a lot faster.
All of the rest of the categories, there wasn't, it's pretty well basically the same as last.
Correct.
I mean, I didn't go line for line, I'm not a bottom line
There was
guy.
slight adjustments made to the account.
The total, the bottom line total still expenditures is going to be very close to the same. The biggest is going to be the increase of the $500,000 is in capital saving, capital expenditures.
And capital.
Does anybody have any further questions about the budget? Comments? Do you feel like you know enough to pass it this time, or would you wait another month to do it? What are y'all's pleasure?
I think just, I'm good with it right now.
And Al's made some promises. Everybody wrote that down, right? about-
there's no footnotes. Well, there's one footnote.
Well,
I made them on mine. It's
What
not
promises?
indicated, but we're sure it's gonna
I'm
happen.
glad we're recording this on video. We'll go back and look at the promises.
No, I think what happened, Johnny, I think what we did last year, I think was really good, was we monitored our budget on a regular basis and we adjusted as we went. We didn't react, we kind of started thinking.
Yeah, and I think we've done.
Mary, am I correct?
We do that
Okay,
all the
right?
time.
Yes.
And we're returning money again.
Returning money,
For the 3rd year in a row.
so, kind of like you shoot yourself in the
You know,
foot, you do such a good job that you don't get no money back, one of those government.
Yeah,
We
we
go
don't,
against traditional government entities where you gotta spend all the money, we do the other way, we save the money, but we don't get any money back.
Right.
You know,
You do such a good job.
these decisions are very difficult for all of us to do, and I want to applaud y'all's work for where you've gotten us, because it's been very tough to get us here because of the drought. I think you've done a tremendous job And I hate to say no to some of these deals, but in the interest of the whole district, I think we want to wait another year to do it. But really and truthfully, the way you've operated the water, Robert, and your group, and Pete, the maintenance, and Alan, and Jay, and Mary, and Ollie, what y'all have done, my hat's off to you. You're really good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate this job. Having said that,
And you cut some
you
more.
don't want to, you got another million out of it. Having said that, would y'all like to pass it back? You don't have any further questions. I'm okay with it. I don't know, are you okay with it? So then I entertain a motion to approve the budget with the changes that we discussed this morning.
Second.
And here's a second from Miguel. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It's a piece of cake for you. You're the only one that got it, Pete. Everybody else just floated right through it.
I'm happy.
Good job,
We
Pedro.
meet monthly on it.
Okay, yeah, all right. That was a biggie.
Good job, Pedro.
We've already done the engagement letter.
Rose is out of town in training, Jenny, so we're gonna skip her.
Okay, so just no action on number 5. We'll review fire
Well,
field.
on the adjustments, do you wanna just do that next?
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. The adjustment, the taxes, adjustments, they're small ones, $250, I think, in total. I don't have a problem with it. I read the explanation, but anybody had
Sharon saved us again. Rose would come back and go.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the adjustments. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Indar seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. No action on the rest. We'll review all those next time. General manager report. I need to take a short
Break?
break. I need a short break. All right, we're back in order, or disorder, or whatever we're in. All right, Judy.
Okay, just wanted to give you a rundown on the 2014 irrigation season. Well, my engineer is kind of nervous, but that blue line reflects what the snow tell is, what the normal is. The red line is what was this year. And we started off in January real good and above average, and then come the middle of, well, we started off actually in March real well, and then come January, we dropped down, and we stayed underneath what the average was, and then actually dipped under what 2013 was, and then made a little recovery towards the tail end.
Supposed to be huge flooding up around Socorro, is that right? Did that happen?
Well, I don't know, right now today.
Yeah, that's last night.
Right, there's a lot of arroyos running
Up in
in,
Socorro.
Robert was giving
Yeah.
an update on that. This is what the runoff has been at San Marcial, going back several years, and we're in a little bit better shape than what we were in 13, but not
Oh, wait a minute,
what
that
we
feels worse.
would like to see.
I have no idea what.
You
I
saw-
guess that's their forecast.
Yeah, that's their forecast, the red is.
Can't forecast.
And then the water that's in the lake right now, those are the numbers, what's at Elephant Butte, what's at Caballo. We have about 25,000 in Caballo, maybe a little bit more right now with the arroyos that have run in. But I wanted to show you the number at the bottom. That's the number that we close out the season at this point with the runoff that we have gotten here in the last couple of weeks. We've got about 75,000 to start off usable for next year. Last year at this time we had 0 for that number, so we're starting off in a little bit better shape than what we had last year.
Yeah, quite a bit better shape.
Got 75,000 times now.
You know, one thing that we always talk about, and I'm looking at the floods right now, they're not huge floods, they're just, it's got 1,000 CFS at San Marcelo, so it's nothing exceptional, but, continue to understand, because we've run into this problem from public relations, is that Herman Setmeyers always talks about ringing the bell. And what ringing the bell means is that the obligation of New Mexico to deliver intel if a butte occurs at Ottawa, north of Albuquerque quite a ways. And so these rainfall events that we're getting in Socorro and 1,000 CFS that's flowing today doesn't ring the bell. So that water is not our water. That is New Mexico's water. Okay, so only events that occur north of Ottawa, flood events occur north of Ottawa, will through an indexing partially accumulate to us. So while they may put water in the reservoir, which helps with the evaporation, it's not something that.
It applies to New Mexico's credit.
It means that they can deliver less water, they can hold more water in the reservoirs and streams, or they can manage it any way they want, or if it should be such that it is a credit, it would accumulate in the reservoir and be held as a credit in the reservoir, so it can be handled all sorts of ways.
It's a credit.
Now, are you saying that because of the definition of usable water?
That's partially, I'm saying the usable water, it's more complicated than that. It has to do with the San Juan Chama Act, and it has to do with the modification of the compact that changed the gauging station from San Marcial to the storage in the reservoir. But anyways.
But I don't agree with that
Well, good.
conclusion.
That'll be the first thing you ever did agree with me on. But I'll quote Herman again, that water doesn't ring the bell.
I don't think he
Well,
should
Herman
disagree
is
with you,
not-
I disagree with the position.
Herman's not a lawyer, he's a little engineer.
You're on video and you're talking about somebody that we work with closely.
Yeah, tell Herman to his
So
face.
that's 1,000 feet doesn't count in our.
Let me go on.
Go ahead, let go on.
The allocations, this is the way the allocations went. Those are the April allocations when we started, they allocated. And you all will remember we did another one in May that brought us up to 80,000. And then the last allocation in July brought us to 92,482.
That was our final allocation.
Right.
Less than a third
Less than a third, yes.
of normal, or whatever, usual. I don't want to say normal, maybe usual.
Full.
I just wanted to show you little numbers, just to show you what we had to work with, and I think Robert did a great job. We held those telephone conferences on a daily basis, Al, Robert, and myself, with EPWCID and the Bureau, and
We actually ended up, because of rainfall, shutting off one day earlier than we had planned during the emergency conference call, but it was the right thing to do.
Been getting in close with the storms around.
There was one slight one, Johnny, at Hatch. It was about 300 feet, but I think by the time it gets to Mesilla, it might not even get there.
I'll be darned, I was thinking probably there's been, you see all, Dr. Dave says all these things are happening up there.
Yeah,
The water doesn't ever show up.
they agree, even all the rains in Cruces, nothing hits the Rio Grande.
Goes into the groundwater.
If it rains on that old big drop, Rincon really runs big.
And it's raining in Canutillo, and nothing's hit the river down there either. It's been, like I'll say, it's very dry.
Because they water their football field and
Yeah.
each year, right?
well, we have it's blue. It comes as the only thing is the grass comes out blue, blue and orange. But that's all I had, unless you all have any other questions. That's how we ended the season on Friday with this allocation, and like I said, we're sitting a little bit better than we were last year for next year. And hopefully they're still predicting El Nino and a wet winter, and so hopefully we'll get that snow where we need it.
I hope it moves that way, because most of it's been in southern Arizona and New Mexico. It hadn't gone to that northern part. I hope it gets there.
Yeah, if anybody wants to buy rain on hay, I know where there's a lot of it. A lot.
A lot. That's the joys of being an alfalfa farmer.
The next item, item B, I think we should discuss in closed since
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
it's
Do you
sale of
agree
property.
with that, Phil?
Okay.
And that's all I had. Just thank you all for the budget. We really appreciate it. The staff and I work on a monthly basis with Mary on the numbers on the budget and where we can cut and where we should cut. And as you all noticed, we ran the wells when we had to and shut them down when we could. And so we saved a lot there in just in fuel. And plus, also we negotiated with the Bureau of Reclamation, and I think we cut what we usually pay them for the dam maintenance and the project by, what was it, Mary? Almost $52,000 this year. So we have a credit for the first billing this coming year from them. So we've,
So you actually pay them and what they have for them, then you get a credit?
yes, the way they work it in there, you pay them what they estimated, and then you go and you protest and you argue with them, and
And get that.
and then you get
cut down.
credit back, and then they'll give you a credit and apply it to the next bill. But we were successful. Gary Esslinger and I worked on that with Ken Rice, and Ken Rice was very helpful in that regard. So that's all I have.
All right. District engineer, your report.
We're pulling the charts right now to do the final accounting. Is that right, Robert?
We pulled them out Tuesday, and I gave everything to,
So she should have them to me by Friday, so we won't have the final accounting the next week. It appears that we're either someplace between having a balance of 500 acre feet positive or 500 acre feet negative. It's without getting the final charts.
Plus or minus 500.
Yeah, so it's pretty accurate, so 5 out of 100,000, so 0.5%. So Robert, you hit it. I thought 1% was pretty good. You hit it to 0.5%.
oh, I didn't hit it.
That's
You're
the
the
new
one
target.
So
And,
cut it, cut it, cut it.
Kinda, yeah, I get that. That's another reason we cut off one day early. But, no, the rain was the main reason we cut off. We could have gone in on it. So I think that all worked out well. And then, of course, obviously with the usable water being fairly large, that we won't allocate that water until December, but we will allocate it in December. We'll get some better estimates.
When it's 5 times what it showed there.
Well, if it would rain north of Ottawa, yeah, so, and let me be clear, the waters that do come in off the Black Range and the Caballo, those are ours. So we got about 20,000 more.
When, this year?
Yeah, this year.
Yes.
Where's Ottawa physically? Is it below that Rio Grande middle?
No, it's way
North
up
of
there.
that,
It's
near
way
Albuquerque?
up
It's
there.
about 90 miles.
Oh, it's past Albuquerque?
Yeah, it's about-
Yeah, north of Santa Fe.
It was north of Taos City.
Yeah, I think it's north of.
Yeah, it's
It's
north
north
of
of
Taos. Yeah, it's way up there.
It's right where the San Juan Chama
And it used to be
comes
at San Marcel?
It's way up.
No,
that's two
they-
gauges.
in. No,
Oh,
that's
I
two
was
different
gonna
things.
say.
The index has always
They
been
moved
at
the
Ottawa.
gauging, but I was
The index for New Mexico has always been at Ottawa.
always been it up.
And it's
Okay.
right up by the state line. I mean,
Okay.
right
The
by-
index for Texas was at San Marcel and it was modified. Anyways, it catches the Chama, which is the big watershed. It's critical, it's the second largest watershed, and then it's metered below that. And so,
And that's where that San Juan Chama water comes in from the San Juan River, and that's where they have to count.
yeah, they count for it all there, so it captures all that. But anyways, it captures 2 of the largest watersheds and part of the San Luis Crystal watershed.
Is there a time limit on that, or any time during the year that there's rain events below Ottawa, it all goes, cruise only to New Mexico's benefit?
The gauge is the index, the bell is at Ottawa.
The bell is at Ottawa.
You gotta ring the bell.
so Al,
And last year.
if there's
remember,
900
we
at
had all those
Ottawa,
storms
it's
in
gotta
the
be
Black
900 at the
Forest
Bureau.
Range.
There's a
And
table, you
that
have to look
goes
at the
directly
table.
into Caballo. That's
It's
what-
an annual table,
that's
so
what
you don't
saved
know
us
until the
is
whole year is over.
all that water that went into Caballo.
Which is where it's been raining more this year. than-
But Caballo, that's below Altamira, that's ours, that's the project's water. So that's good. So that's that item. The next item on the accounting is what we talked about, that you covered that. C is a new item. I don't think we've discussed this at all with the board. This is something that was just brought to our attention, really, less since the last board meeting. This is and I'm just gonna briefly go over it, we just need some general opinions on this, no resolutions or anything, it's not there. But let me, in summary, in terms of dealing with the Franklin Canal near the zoo, in proximate to the zoo area, down towards Fox Plaza and Scarlett Wasteway, which is farther down. They want, let me see, how can we put this? So we were, initially when I heard of this, I was very opposed to it. I said, I guess the words were absolutely not. Was that right? Or was there stronger words?
What do you really mean?
They wanted to put stormwater in our flow prism of the Franklin Canal and make it our issue to deal with. So during flood events, they wanted to actually, which is exactly opposite to our standard operating procedure. Our standard operating procedure is when we go into flood events, and especially in this area, we start evacuating the canals and lowering the water levels because we don't, and we really do not want, for water quality reasons, all sorts of operational reasons, canal integrity reasons, we do not want stormwater in our canal. There's only a couple of minor discharges that were approved by reclamation into the Franklin, and they have to do with small pumps from city-owned property. Is that right, Chewy? I believe in that area. So I think they're 2- and 4-inch discharges where they pump, basically de-water parking lots. I've always been opposed to those because of water quality issues.
And those were installed some 15 years ago.
Or more than that. Yeah. One of them was in the 1950s, and we've been working with the city to get those out of our canal, not to add more. But having said all that, the city's come up with a fairly innovative idea, which would bring a lot of benefits to the district, and we try to mitigate or minimize the detriments. And so it's a complicated proposal, but basically what's on the table now, and Chewy and Jay, since it's happening so quickly, correct me if I get this wrong, but would be redoing 1 to 2 miles of the Franklin Canal downtown, enlarging it, concrete lining
Say
it.
downtown, are you talking about the zoo?
Yeah, by the zoo, sorry, not directly down.
Actually, from more or less from Eucalyptus
Yeah.
towards the zoo.
Yeah, we haven't got the exact footprint yet. This is all conceptual. And what they would do is enlarge the channel, and then our flow prism would be at the bottom. In other words, our ability to convey water, we would not use we'd only use a fraction, because as you notice, we concrete line the canal, the velocities go up, the depth goes down.
Talking about concrete lining.
Concrete line in several miles of it, or at least a couple of miles, I believe, or 1.5 miles. We haven't got the exact numbers. They make it bigger so that it would work as a detention. We put in automatic gates both upstream and downstream, and we'd use the downstream wasteway at the county park. We'd improve that, and we'd use that to convey the stormwater out. At the same time, we'd still be allowed to continue our deliveries, because just because it's raining and flooding in this location doesn't mean it is in Tornillo. And so we may still have obligations to deliver. That's one thing they didn't understand. They wanted to say, well, we got into some flow event, we would just turn over the canal 100% to them. And we said, absolutely not. We still have to make deliveries regardless whether it's raining downtown, because of that. So they've come up with some technology and some stuff. There's still certain risks to the district that we're not 100% comfortable.
They want to store water there for what purpose?
Or to take the peak off, and then they'll discharge it down the wasteway as they can.
Down over this way to Security
So
Wasteway.
it's just a regulator more than a storage.
Yeah, it would be a temporary storage, like an order of hours.
Now, when you say they,
The
Are
city
you
of El
talking about
Paso,
the
the city of El
DSP or the
Paso.
city?
The they is the city of El
The
Paso,
stormwater district.
and through the city of El Paso.
Well, they're not.
do you have a
planning-
written proposal on it?
We are just bringing this as information only today. There's no resolution or anything else.
So it's not I mean, it's just for hours to where would all they want to do is be able to regulate the flow, to be able to handle it, and they're getting this.
Yeah, it might be up to 24 hours.
Well, yeah, but I'm not 24 days.
No. We would make a requirement that it be done And it's
They're
real.
gonna cement line and they're gonna make it a lot larger.
Yeah, so we would design it such that it conveyed all sediment through those sections, and we'd actually, one of the things that we require is then that they would pay for a cleaning station, like we're proposing on the riverside, a place where we can access with trucks to clean, a settling basin, so to speak. So they would,
Is this a vital part, will it really help them a lot?
they,
It would help, it would take care of the freeway
Because that's
issues.
spaghetti wells right there.
yeah, they came to us because they felt they had no other option but this one.
Is it possible that they might wanna cement line the rest of that canal down through there that we had so much trouble with?
Yeah, well, parts of it. We're in the, all I'm asking for the board now is either to say absolutely no, we're not gonna discuss it further. Or should we go ahead and work with
Always
these people?
consider every potential. But what I'm asking is, in discussing with them, because it's in the initial stages, they're gonna cement line a couple of miles.
Right.
Is there enough value in it for them to cement 5 miles?
Those will all be things that we can discuss.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, for,
I don't know that answer to that question. but
that's why I ask how important it is to you. I know you don't know the answer to it, but what I'm saying is you need to pursue
As
to the
much as you can.
maximum whatever, because that's a big problem area for it, and I know our ex-mayor never saw a gopher big enough to make a hole that large, but you understand what I'm saying, that area is a big problem, so if this is highly important, is there not some benefit to the whole city, because it benefits their residents in this
Right, right. And that's the key, the benefits to us, the primary benefit to us is maintenance, is getting the thing,
But
so
if
we can
we
maintain
can
it.
stretch it
Yeah,
to
and
further.
we can push it farther. We'll have to look at, obviously their position would be they don't want to pay a nickel more than what they need to
Of
do.
course.
Well, would their legal infrastructure be a license?
We're not at that point. We're
But-
not even at the point where we have a technical proposal or anything. We were just at conceptual phase,
Well,
whether
I
it's
think
even
you
possible
need
to
to pursue it. I'm
discuss
just
it.
thinking of things that need to be part of the discussion.
Well, my point is, I don't see any justification or any way you could realistically, dealing with the Bureau and other entities, give them a deeded interest
Oh, no, we don't.
in the canal.
No, no.
I think, there's a quality issue, that's the stormwater runoff from an urban environment that's highly impervious. So we have that issue. They promised at least some settlement, pre-settlement, but the idea is that they're giving us the peak during the time, so that's not gonna, the settling isn't gonna help too much, but there is some filtration, but they haven't shown me how much filtration is gonna go on. It's probably just gonna be rock, gabion type of stuff, because I doubt it's sand, but they're willing to start going down that thing if we're willing to work with them on it, and that's all I'm asking you is are you guys opposed to this? And
No,
that we should.
I'm all for it, but I think there needs to be, there's a huge value to the flood control district. And the value could extend even further on because it's gonna protect a lot of their residents, and we don't have the same thing happen as we did before. So let's make it into a bigger,
A longer stretch.
yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if TxDOT is not going to be participating.
And right now, we've talked between eucalyptus all the way to the Carolina Bridge, which is,
Good.
would take care of a lot of those,
I think encompasses that run
It's more than 82 miles.
that's more, but they need more of a stretch because they'll be coming in through the Prosperity Wasteway.
If they need to stretch all the way to Fagan's with a French. I mean, whatever.
Well, there's two things here. There'd be a much less cost per mile to concrete line or to shotcrete our canal to the flow prison we need for deliveries. They need storage, so that structure is gonna be much bigger, much more concrete, much more expensive. So the storage area may be
But it's
smaller.
a storage temporarily only for the excessive rains, right?
Right.
It's a regulator.
It's not a pond that's gonna be for,
No,
it's a hippo farm or something.
No, the zoo doesn't have anything, the zoo's not involved in this at all right now.
Right.
Oh,
Plus the gates that Robert's always been concerned with, right there at Franklin, where the wasteway, it's got the
Those will be
wasteway is,
replaced.
those will be replaced also.
Yeah, I think that's a win-win potential, which not many of them come along.
Okay, well, we'll continue then pursuing it. That's all I needed from you.
And as a matter of fact, we're meeting this afternoon, right?
Good.
I don't know who.
Yes.
That's
Item B.
different.
That's
For
what I mean, think report on that.
who, for what? Intake structure for what? Oh, no, we're not meeting on this project.
No, but
We're
we meet
meeting on a
with the same,
different, we're meeting with
yeah,
the city
we're-
on a different project.
Under else,
but it'll be the same people.
Government sites?
now you have,
No, it's a different set of people.
you have
No, it's
item
not.
D,
It's the intake, it's the,
government
Intake and
specialist
Johnson.
after meeting.
that's not so much, it's the weight, that's water. Anyway, sorry. Different project.
Got to use it, wow. Item D,
As you guys already heard the update on that, we switched to steel pipe for the railroad project. That's significant. There's the only thing that we're still trying to resolve is there's two community ditches, the Newman and the Williams. We had, in the engineering recommendations, we had agreed to make some recommendations on how those sites should be built in the interest of the landowner, but we own no property on the Williams, and we only own a little bit of the property on one side on the Newman. So we have no legal authority to construct in those areas, and we made recommendations of what we think the right pipe sizes should be and how they should be configured. I just want you guys to be aware that on 2 of those 11 sites, we probably, at least one of them, Williams, we all, right now have no construction activity at all. Because it's not our property, it's not our issue, it's between the railroad and the community ditch. So we put those in contact, and they're.
where is that?
That is here in Clint on Dillon Road, by the railroad tracks, and the TNR Chemical,
Williams.
right on the south, or eastern side of it is one.
So,
And that's not ours.
it's not ours.
It's a small community. Comes off the Clint lateral right at the turn.
Yeah,
It's just a turnout, and then the same thing with the new one, which is up near the bypass.
I know where it is, I just.
And the bypass, we do have one of the inlet structures is on our property, so we've agreed to construct the inlet side of it if they pay 100% for it. You know, on the other ones, we're matching with our labor because it's in our interest to do that. But that is a community dish, we have that's 100% responsibility of the landowners and the railroads, so they've got to pay for 100%. So that's the only thing that's new that's come up. Ultimately, if we can get the legal authority, you know, the agreements in place, which is down the road, we haven't even started on this, there's no discussions even on this, but if they would come back to us and want to come up with the proper legal instruments and funding, then I'll bring that back to you guys to see if we can help them construct those inlets and outlets, but right now, we're not constructing. Just so you know, that's on the Newman Williams. All the other ones we are. That's it for me.
All right. Number 8, is it a closed session deal?
Yes, sir.
All right,
But you may, if you decide to take action, you'll do it in open session.
well, I understand that. Okay, Pete, you're on again.
We would start with a little report just on the wells. Right now, we've got a total of 12 wells that we're gonna be needing some work done to them. The RS-12, we need to check for injection pump and or the turbo. One of those things I think has gone out. The engine's lacking power. We thought it might have been the gearhead because it seemed kind of heavy. But we kind of troubleshooted it where it's either got to be the injection pump or turbo. And we're working on that right now. RS1 and Franklin Feeder 4, also, I think that's also a fuel issue. Those pumps, we keep turning them on, for some reason, they turn off by themselves. So it might be the mercury switch also on it. RS3, 17, Eastville 1, Eastville 3, Franklin Feeder 2, Franklin Feeder 8, Franklin Canal 4, and Clint 1. We're going to be pulling those out and probably drop the camera in them. The production has dropped tremendously, so we want to see what's going on in there. So. And then on 1D4, that one also we're going to be pulling and dropping the camera. On that one there, we're finding large amounts of gravel inside the casing. So that might be
Casing slip.
Yeah,
Who designed those screens?
For the 3-year screen?
3 years. And it lasted how many years now?
Seven or eight.
Oh, no, it's 2003. It lasted
Is that
11
long?
years.
7 years.
So we've got
They were
400%.
I thought they said 7 years trees when they put it in.
Three.
Three?
I guaranteed them for 3 years.
You can camera them, you may be able to put a sleeve in there.
Right. Yeah, so we're gonna pull these 12 out and drop the cameras in and see what we can find out.
Maybe
That was the thinnest screen I could buy.
I thought it was a little cheaper after Hudspeth had some trouble with it, we got a little bit.
They'd already done ours before.
They'd already done ours.
Here, that's the old RS-18, that was abandoned a couple I guess about last year or so. And what we're doing is we're salvaging some of the gravel that was put into this well to try and conserve a little bit on the expenses on the gravel, so.
These are
We so
reclaimed
far,
gravel pits now.
yeah, we so far pulled about 12 dump trucks out of this one well, so.
Wow.
Might have been an indication there was problems with it for you.
Okay, so this is just a couple of things. I got a couple of pictures here. I'll go through them pretty quick. And here's another picture of the well. And then a little device that we kind of invented in-house to see if it works. We still haven't tried it out, but we're going to use that to see if maybe we can clean some of these.
Or get it stuck.
Yeah, one or the other. I mean, we'll try it in one of these wells at one of these those producers. I think it'll work. Yeah, I think we.
How hard is
put
that
it-
stuff?
Well, these are cables. It's a cable that is just stranded. And we're
You're gonna
hoping
try to
it'll work.
brush them clean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
But
give it a
that's,
shot.
you're gonna get the inside of the well, but the outside is what's always
Right.
on those casings where you get most of your plugging, I think.
But with
It's a good try.
what I've heard is I don't think we can blast our wells.
No,
I don't even know if you can clean them, to tell you the truth. They may be paper thin at this point. You may be on the outside of it.
Maybe.
So I mean, it's just something we're gonna try. Hopefully it'll work. I'm pretty sure it'll work on some wells. Others might not, but it's
Well,
worth a
it
try.
looks fairly inexpensive if you get it stuck.
Yeah.
in the holes.
It's worth a try.
We just got a half liner if it's stuck.
Yeah.
Except pump iron.
The
This
problem-
here, it's the Juan de Vela Branch A. This is a crossing. It's a private crossing. Pipe corroded on it. As you can see, it's in pretty bad shape. So we've gone in there and replaced the pipe at the customer's expense. It's after we had gotten there and the crossing after we were done with it.
It's an old one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is just right below Pendle. River drain, some of the growth that we've been getting due to the rains, as you can see all the ruts here on the side. This is the river drain. This is one of the drains that we had cleaned out here a couple of months back. And
That's
of
a
course-
Bureau Reclamation Spark. Who was the underside of the commissioner?
Not his car here, was it? Didn't go away from it.
But it was the commissioner, reclamation that came down here and just decided to do that after looking at it. Who was it? I don't know.
That was before or after Jess Gilmer, I guess?
Oh, no, it
No,
was
this was
a
a
federal.
federal guy.
Oh, okay.
The guy that was commissioner for the Bureau of
He
Reclamation.
did this one and the one in Sapporo.
Yeah. I mean, just hip shot right here while he's here, no studies, nothing, we're gonna do this, but.
Here's
There you work.
We had a good tire story.
Lisa's working on trying to get some funding also, so we can do a cleanup. This one here will be, hopefully done just by the district.
There's no weeds growing under them.
No, maybe not. Maybe that's the solution
Watch the honey.
to our problem.
Watch the honey.
Waste channel at Tornillo here, this area here is very, it's crucial to Robert for the waste channel. Here's where he kind of determines on how much water is being spilled out the waste channel there at the Tornillo heading, which as you can see, there's no water going through there.
But it's also San Felipe Arroyo.
Right, and the San Felipe Arroyo also.
It's the old
Right
river,
into
right?
this stuff, yes. We actually put the excavator inside and did some cleanup in there and kind of worked our way back out. That's when we got completed. During the process, apparently there's a water line that goes over the left bank there of the waste channel. That,
Apparently, yeah.
that pipe is, you know, we actually ruptured the pipe just with the weight of the machine. It was never hit or anything else, and you'll see the,
Who's building, sure.
that's the old dairy, there by, right by Davis.
Oh, okay.
You know, that line's, I think that line's an illegal line, we've had some issues with it for a long time.
Probably is, but whose is it?
It's, number 4.
Davis one.
We didn't really know, yeah, that's it.
That's it right there. And we did break it about 3-4 times.
I don't know, what's that?
That's also a water line, but I think that's the one that goes down to Louise's place.
Uncle, and it serves, we see Rudy's down there and everything else,
And Michael Soraki, what?
But yeah, we did break it a couple of times, and Famous Four went out and repaired it. Then this is just some help that we assisted in San Isidro, one of our constituents that his house got flooded here during the storm. And we went out there we didn't send any manpower other than we owned him a pump to pump out his house.
Oh, that's terrible.
It's just from on site, right?
And being that we vacated the Clint yard, we started moving everything to Fabian's, and this is there at the Rio's yard. And what we did is we kind of built a sand pit to store gravel and sand for our concrete. It's already in use. So. Utilized some of the material we had in hand and just got creative with it. Here's on the Socorro, right below the heading. Actually, there was some dirt that was being pulled from about a mile away, and it was given to us, so we took advantage of it. At the same token, started doing some repairs on these ditch banks. There's our Peterbilt at work. That's just an awesome picture.
You need to show that to Bobby.
Bobby's not here.
Yeah, it's, we were actually transporting the long reach to the border drain. We're having a lot of trouble with.
Nice trailer.
Yes, it is. I just think that's an awesome picture. This is right there by the border fence. That's kind of what it looked like. Water was being held back, and got a couple of complaints by some of our water users that the water table was starting to get kind of high.
Who are they?
So there is some water in some of our drains.
Wasn't the government gonna maintain that site?
They're maintaining the site towards the river, but we're responsible for the channel and
Maintained.
the slopes, correct? Bob?
They were supposed to maintain that.
Yeah.
They own all that side.
Even the channel?
Yeah.
The channels are.
Sounds nice.
The bank next to the fence is the
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And as you can see, yeah, we didn't touch the side towards the fence.
That's part of the site that they're supposed to maintain.
Right.
You need to release some more beetles.
This is a cover that we built back here. I don't know if you guys saw it when you drove in, but this is to store some of our equipment, try to keep it out of the elements. Turned out to be pretty nice. It was all done in-house.
It's called a deposito.
I'm sorry?
Deposito.
Deposit. And there is equipment under there already. 154 station 161, culvert rotted out, need to replace it, so we went in and replaced it. Middle drain, again, this is some of those fires that I've been telling you, I've been turning off just with complaints in the area. We'll go in there, we'll clean out an area, then get out of there. And then you'll see our drain mower at work. This is where leisure. Again, Mesa drain by the branch C. Same thing there. And then of course, kind of just driving, some truck driving. Some of the damages that was caused to our Y303. Unfortunately, we don't know who caused it. There's no police report, there's nothing there, so.
What were they doing?
Well, what they did is they drove off our bank and
Someone just,
yeah, they did the turnout here, broke all the concrete here, so. Yeah, there's the evidence.
Look at the time traps.
It was a fairly big vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah, it's around
Is it
it.
a truck?
Yeah,
Big old truck.
It looks like a semi truck.
Or a big bobtail?
Item main, here we, what we're doing is we're kind of lifting the dirt from the outside of the bank and bringing it back up on top. And we're still doing a little bit of work here. Some of the problems that the storms have brought us, Bowman level, there's actually an old truck under this tree. I know you can't see it, but it's in there. We had 2 trees that fell on the Bowman. Very fortunate that no one was hurt or didn't land on the house. And then this is on the Franklin Canal, just almost in front of the Tractor Supply. And here we removed the tree, but the homeowner is taking care of the chain link fence, meaning that the tree kind of was his property and our property. This is what Rob was talking about, the San Felipe Arroyo. That's here a couple of weeks ago.
Even with that big dam out there, that thing's still in a bit of water.
We're doing some cleanup on the Mesa drain, Mesa spur drain. These next couple of pictures is just starting at the tail end and working my way upstream and just kind of showing you guys how the final job looks. This is right there at the tail end, 303. Right there by Coker Road, where we have those storms that go into our drain. My lesser Milliken's place. And this is there by Horizon. Try to keep this this picture here in your mind there, because you can see some pictures here of what that culvert looks like after a storm. This is right by where the Horizon mud dumps some of the water into our drain.
What is that?
A couple mattresses?
Couple of mattresses.
That's a mattress, a couple of mattresses. Yeah.
Mattress and mattresses. That's really nice of somebody to give us.
And of course, a couple of couches. I mean, you can furnish your house with the stuff that you can have. And here's the storm that we got back in July, late part of July. And this is there at Thunder Road, just west of Horizon, and just a couple of blocks away from Horizon Boulevard. And this is when that arroyo ran into that dam. And what the city of Socorro has done is they blocked off Thunder Road, and they've kind of diverted the water into a big empty field that's there, about 24 acres. Well, unfortunately, the water's not contained in that field. It goes straight into our drain. That's the field I'm talking about.
That's a pretty shallow controlled desert.
Is that a city-owned field, that Socorro owns it, or?
I don't know if they've purchased it yet. I know they were in the process of trying to buy this property. I just don't know if they bought it yet or not. The last I've heard is they were still trying to buy it.
Cloud, great.
And these next couple of pictures kind of shows what that storm did. We had just gone through here and cleaned this drain. That's that same culvert that I just showed you a few minutes ago. That's downstream of Horizon. This is what we've done back and kind of repaired all the ruts, and then we came back and then up the channel again. And then this is the storm, what the storm created. This is further upstream. This is just downstream from Americas Avenue, right behind Ben Ivy's place. In fact, I did see Ben Ivy out there speaking to Stormwater regarding this problem. And also, this is kind of used as a retention pond. That also gave, and there's the damage it created.
What pipe was that?
Who's the pipes?
That belongs to PSP, or to Stormwater. That goes into like a manhole, and I'm thinking that's kind of like a storm drain, to keep water from going into our drain.
That's right below the dam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I did by accident.
It's on the opposite side of the.
On the east side.
On the east side, yes.
I didn't know.
This is a reservoir that the city spent close to $3 million removing the silt 2 years ago, and it's back full again, according to John Baloo.
And here you can see where the water made all the way back into the Mesa spur drain, so. And these are the damages to it. So then we went back and cleaned that area, and we get another storm, and back to the Mesa Spur, to that empty field on City of Socorro. This is closer to Horizon Boulevard, and there's the damages it caused. These are 3 different storms. So we kind of know this drain already, like the back of our hands. We've been there so.
Right up there next to the
So
mesa, I mean, it comes off of San Diego.
And these next pictures of the Montoya drain, this is the area that we cleaned up in the upper valley. This is River Bend right here. And I just kind of want to show you how quickly we start getting growth back in these drains.
It might be smart for us to look at the impervious area upstream of those areas and see how much has changed and see whether these damages are being caused by development upstream. And Jay and I were working on some issues in the city of Horizon just yesterday. And, because if it is, that means that and we know that area is being developed pretty fast, that means that the frequency and the amount of damage will just increase over time. And there are liability issues in there. It's a trespass issue, so there may be some solutions, at least to getting some. It's the people that do the development or keep it going. If their ponds are undersized or if there's an issue.
But they're all approved by some
Not all of
government
them.
agency.
By the city engineers?
Well, not all of it's in the city limits.
Well, but somebody, regardless, it'd be Socorro or Horizon or.
Well, at least we may have a claim, if it is in the city, then we have an issue with those people. Our taxpayers are paying the cost of that development.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't disagree with you, I just was wondering who had the liability.
Sunset.
We don't really, I think first to see is if it's being caused by
Maybe
development.
that's what you're saying. Maybe it's not.
City of El Paso's got a storm drain that comes right in here, which is the White Spur drain.
Well, when you seen that,
The flow,
pave all
I'm
over
looking
San
down,
Diego's
the
up
flow's
there.
going the way I'm looking at it.
You see the flow tremendously, because most of that country real permeable.
Yeah, if you get-
It took a lot of rain to run those draws before it run.
So what, did you go back, I'm sorry, at the White Spur, are there any problems there? Or?
No, I just,
Just the vegetation?
just the vegetation, how it's coming back. Again, this is,
Stabilizing your bank.
there you go.
That's why it needs that extra mower, because go back and get extra 2 more, right? Well, talk to Robert and get him to 5 foot, and
Well, let me ask the board some. A couple of years back, I was instructed not to use the brush cutters due to some of the deterioration of the banks. Would it be wise to use them right now during the drought to where you're not gonna have a sloughing from the water coming back into the drain? To where it'll be a lot quicker than the mowers if I were to run those brush cutters through there.
Really?
those are those great big wheels you're talking
Yes.
about.
Just-
Maybe not
I don't see why you couldn't either. Because we say not to use them at one time.
Well, we didn't during that time, because what it was doing was creating sloughing. We thought it might have been that was the reason, but then again.
Because of the ground level, water level,
Oh, yeah.
and the drains were all.
For right now, it's not.
You go from one side of the pendulum to the other, now you don't have enough water.
Right.
Too much.
So it would be smart to use them now.
I would think so.
I would think so,
Why
yeah.
not?
Quicker and
So you're gonna have to get your cat fixed pretty quick.
Yes. But I can cover a lot more ground with that V8 of that post brush cutter.
And utilize that thing, because otherwise it's not utilized, right? That's where we bought it.
Right.
And it takes something full of it. I would think it'd be fine. I mean, does anybody have a problem with it?
No problem.
it helps.
And like Mr. Ray said, I'd also like to thank you guys for approving the budget and for.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Give me that roll, Steve. Give me that.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
All right, Roberto.
Season has come to an end, guys. So the short, long season.
But it's a piece of cake, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Piece of cake. Kind of give you a little rundown, 2014 versus 2013. 2013, we watered approximately 63,000 acres, including the small tracts, which was just to irrigation. 2014, we watered approximately 114,000 acres, and we gave small tract 5 watering, so. Yeah, almost. We did pretty good with the water, and then last year, we gave the small tracts 2, this year we gave them 5, so we did pretty good with the water that we had. We covered a lot of land.
Longer season.
Yeah, we covered a lot of water, a lot of land with it, and there's good days and there's bad days because we try to stay with the same budget. And we didn't use the wells like we foresee, usually on Unit 7, we didn't use them this heavy, all the wells, and usually on the Isla, and the one on the Branch C, we hardly used any of those wells up there. We just took a real tight stand with the water. When we had small acres, we just basically held them up to the weekend small tracts, and it worked out pretty good. We did 8B like that. So Nelly, we would only put water in there for the small tract weekend, and we get all the small farmers, 5-6 acres, and it worked out real good.
Yeah, we tightened up on the, even though we gave one more irrigation than normal for the small tracts, we actually delivered less water. Because he's tightened up so much on that.
And it worked out pretty good, and then the target dates that we set forward to shut off, they really fell into place pretty good. As you know, one thing that the farmers always complain to me is that I'd rather be shut off, Robert, instead of going out there and saying, well, you're gonna give us water to the 25th. They plant hay, and we come up to the 25th when we're dry. This way, the Unit 7, Unit 6, those are the ones that worry me the most. Unit 8, 9 doesn't worry me too much because we still got some kind of return flow. We can always, some way or other, water them out. But Unit 6, Unit 7, we give them the target dates, and maybe we'll go 1 or 2 days afterwards, but the thing that they don't want is to have like 10 acres of hay seeded out there, and there's no water, and we shortchange it. And, you know, in Unit 6, it worked out pretty good. Unfortunately, toward the end, there was rain out there, and a lot of guys couldn't get water, and they wanted water, and you know, we held the water to them, and held the water to them, but finally we ran out, and toward the end, it worked out real good because we cut off a couple of days earlier than we figured on the dam, so it worked out real good. As of today, we still got 29 wells running, and those will be starting to come down. The reason they're starting to come down, we got 5,000 acres left of return of, now I'm not going to call them return flow, but acres that were still pending to water out in Units 8 and 9. We're knocking out about 500 to 600 acres a day with what we got, and we're losing water every day because the river's losing water every day. So I'm foreseeing by next Thursday, Friday, we should pretty well have the 5,000 acres out of the way. And then we got another 5,000 acres that really are return flow. Those guys are late orders. I'm looking at those late orders, not only looking at them, but if we are in a jungle area and there's no acres, we try to pick them up. But I'm also looking at if there's any cotton in those late orders to pick up the cotton, because yeah, by next Friday, the cotton is pretty well going to be out of play. So that's going. But going back to the return to the wells, we got 29. We got 7 on the Franklin feeder, 4 on the Franklin Canal, and 18 on the Riverside. I'm foreseeing probably by this weekend, all those wells on the Riverside are going to start coming off. Simple reason is the Riverside is going to be drying out here probably by Friday, Saturday. Once the Riverside dries out, we're diverting everything down feeder, we're going to shut off everything on the Riverside, because if we don't have the water from the release or any kind of return flow, those wells on the Riverside, they just go straight down to the sand and we lose them. So those will be coming off, and like I told Chewy and Pete, I'm thinking by next Thursday, every well on the valley will be shut off, and we'll be strictly return flow, and we'll be working on about 5,000 acres that we got left. But it's going out, we're going out pretty fast with them, the cotton. And then the last thing is, we're back in the 2 inches.
Okay.
Okay.
I was gonna ask, I've already had people ask me, when's the 2 inches?
Yeah, well, they're too smart, I started Monday, and I said, I said, well, I'm gonna water, I said, yeah, you can water if you want to, but you're in 2 inches, off. So, and then he said, can I water twice as many acres? I said, how does that? Well, it takes less water than a lot of it. He said, well, you do what you have to do, but you got X amount of hours to do it in. Whatever you can cover, cover it. And that's how we're doing it. So we started on Monday. Anybody that watered last weekend, we're still in the allotment. We didn't charge the 2 inches. We started this Monday. And that's pretty well it. I think out by the well, but next Thursday we'll be completely out and we'll carry return flow. And so far, the end of the season has worked out pretty good, pretty smooth. We're covering everybody that wanted water. We covered everybody. We called everybody in the Riverside to make sure that anybody that wanted water got water, because we told them pretty well the Riverside was going to play out by this weekend. Everybody that wanted water has ordered or either watered already, and they will be in pretty good shape by then. And then still continue, the Celatral will be coming offline here by the end of September. The plant will follow first, and then we would have basically part of really Unit 8 and Unit 9, because Sanelli 8B, that unit is pretty well watered out too. We really went in there, watered all the late orders that we had and all the current orders, so that's pretty, and that helps us because we start raising up checks and we keep coming downstream. Like we had Healy off the Franklin feeder, he's through, so we raised those checks. We had some people that wanted water, but we had to be very firm with them because it was the United States of America, which is the State of Indians. They order on the 20th, wanted water on the 25th. We come up on them on the 28th and say, we're still not ready. Well, you're not ready, you're never going to be ready. And we move forward. But that's pretty well it. We should have all wells off by next Thursday.
That was water for agricultural. That was for.
Yeah, it's not ceremonial.
No, this is just land they got out that some of the Indians, they've got alfalfa and the homes watering, but they got alfalfa. But like I tell them, guys, you order on the 20th for the 25th, and here comes on the 28th, and your ditch is dirty. I'm sorry, but
These guys that went in on that 2 inches, am I supposed to tell them that they call up the district and do just like we did last time?
They do like everything else. I mean, I monitor them. They're still close in the sense that they put an order in and then they place another order in, and I go back and cancel the second one because I keep them have 2 orders. They're trying to manipulate the system. So I gotta cut them off in the knee. They don't like it, but it is what it is. They're just seeing where they can get over it.
Okay.
They're cat and mouse games with them.
Well, and I'm right down below one of those big guys, and I'm just curious.
You're between 2 big ones down there.
Yeah.
And they keep a close eye on you.
They sure do.
They said that their cotton is more important than your nut.
Yes, we already know that.
So,
I keep trying to explain to you, just because that cotton falls down like that, trees don't do that, but they're just as hurt.
and they complain, and that's where I kind of step in and just try to manipulate it, but it all,
It's okay, I'm
it
not
all works
complaining,
out.
I didn't say anything.
It all works out.
It all worked out.
And the main problem here is I try to follow how everybody places the order, and that pretty well does the dictating who's first.
You're doing a good job making sure that nobody that's a director down there looks like he's getting any preference.
I definitely take care of you.
I commend you for that, Robert. Make sure you do it 9A, or 9, Unit 9.
You gotta hear what he calls me sometimes, they try to tell you, you better tell Robert that. They are.
Robert, we appreciate it. It was great.
And like Pete says,
It's a good out of here.
thank you guys for the trucks, and I know sometimes you get upset with the way I do things, but it's just the way it works out.
Good job, Robert.
Thanks.
Very good job, Gil. Keep up the good work. All right, let's see, item number 11, no action. Well, my goodness, Jay, you've been busy.
Got a few. In construction, where we get, six, 12H is a subdivision. This subdivision is directly here, Sanelli, behind, Borrego Elementary School, right here off of Socorro Road and Chicken Ranch. Kind of football field that sits right behind it. And they submitted their, exhibits to reflect the easements and what's required. Engineering recommends this subdivision for approval. If anyone has any questions?
Do I hear a motion to approve application 1622?
So moved.
Second?
Art seconds, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. It's approved.
Fantastic. Application 1633 is on behalf of El Paso Water Utilities. This is an 8-inch water line, and it used to run parallel in Alameda. This is downstream from the medical school, Fox Plaza area, where it crosses the Franklin Canal. And obviously, that's been in construction and been demolished. So now the TxDOT will be placing that portion of the canal underground in box culverts right at the medical school. And they will be going underneath the box culverts, and they've submitted the documentation required, and engineering recommends this for approval.
I hear a motion to approve application 1633.
What's the consideration?
The settlement of the lawsuit.
You settled all that, huh?
Lawsuit consideration.
Which lawsuit you talking about now?
$12,800.
Thank you.
No, you're gonna abstain? Okay, sure, let the record show that Miguel left the room and abstained, didn't take no part in the vote or discussion. Okay, do I hear approval of application 1633? A motion to approve, excuse me.
So
Larry makes it, Art seconds, all in favor say aye. And sign, motion carries. Application 1637.
this is an application by Socorro Health Realty LLC, and they are a limited liability company formed in Texas, authorized to do business in the state of Texas. They are proposing to build a rehabilitation and nursing home here in Socorro. It's directly across from the Church's Chicken next to Socorro High School, right behind the Franklin Canal. And they have submitted an application for permission to construct a crossing from Alameda into the rehabilitation.
Brand new bridge.
A brand new bridge. They have submitted,
Which is gonna bring all the companies with it, so.
the drawings are 2 8x6 box culverts as TxDOT has designed downstream where the old Whataburger used to be. They're gonna do the same design TxDOT at Buford.
It's gonna be inverted, but I mean, it's not gonna be like these other bridges where.
No, absolutely, yeah, it'll be basically about a foot below design grade, but yes, the vertical curve will be reduced significantly, nowhere near the other ones.
These things are awful. You're going up a ramp.
Yes.
I mean, they're dangerous coming off onto that. I mean, those things are terrible.
This one, there's been no rate determined, the board has to determine the rate on this one.
How much?
It's a private entity.
It is a private, it's not gonna become a
They may
Socorro.
not build it when we finish.
It will be dedicated to the,
It's your guys' call.
it will be dedicated to
Is it a
Socorro.
public roadway or private roadway?
Private.
It's a private.
Private.
Initially, the city will take over.
Well, we don't have, right, it's a private way.
But right now, it will be a private, it will be granted to.
Do we have
Socorro.
anything that we charge, one similar to this anywhere in the past?
Yes.
Private.
Private was the Doug Schwartz, the Artcraft Estates off of Artcraft and West Side Drive for the subdivision.
Similar deal. It's not the major artery.
No, that was.
It was a small lateral.
It was at La Union East, and it was essentially an ingress and egress to the subdivision.
What did we charge him?
I believe the rate was 10 cents a square foot for a 50-year, obviously.
Wow. Those are good.
Yeah.
You don't have your recommendation?
Are we setting, do we go back to them right now with a price on this? Is that what, at
You guys can go in a closed session if you wish
We
to
can
discuss it.
discuss this in closed session if you like, and yeah, and essentially, it can be approved on a contingency, obviously, that he accepts, that the.
Yeah, and I'm not sure on the 10 cents that there's been, I mean, Jay says that, and he says he's verified it, I don't remember, I mean, I haven't
Yeah.
researched that issue, but regardless of that, I would discount that
Why
right
don't we
now.
table it, no action,
Okay.
until we have time to work on what we think is a reasonable value.
Okay.
or unreasonable. Okay. No action on,
Okay. Application 1639 is an application on behalf of El Paso Electric, and these next three actually can be grouped, 1639, 1640, and 1641 is for the project here on North Loop from Buford, Horizon Boulevard to Loop 275, TxDOT's project, the widening of North Loop. El Paso Electric had to relocate their poles about 50 feet south of North Loop or west. And they've submitted, they've restrung the new lines and placed new poles, and they have submitted the documentation required. For these three, they had obtained temporary construction easements because the TxDOT was waiting on them to do the relocation. So now they submitted
all three of them are basically the same, and y'all.
Same line, yeah, the same line, and they submitted everything, and engineering recommends these three for approval.
You recommend we approve. Do I hear a motion to approve 1639, 1640,
Compensation,
1641?
compensation, is there any?
Yes.
It is, yes,
We got a motion by, Is there
10,000,
a second? There.
10,500.
Discussion, and so you
I
want
haven't
to know?
called for discussion, but I will.
Okay.
You get the motion first and then call for discussion.
Yes, thank you, Ron.
I'm just keeping you in mind, Mr. Chair. Okay, any further discussion? There's a motion on the floor.
How about a 1% franchise fee?
That'll stop. We've been in negotiations with El Paso Electric over the years.
They've never given us, they just, how come the city gets a franchise fee?
If you want us to do that, that's something completely new from the previous discussions that we had with them, we could do that.
Well, the
It'll
city
stop
has
some
just
major
done it for the
construction
first
that's
time.
very critical to the
Okay.
city right now. I'd suggest that we approve these and then
Yeah.
consider that for the
What
next
is,
one.
what is it, but you don't know what the,
10,000.
this is the application, okay? We're approving the application, not the license.
The
No, no,
license,
you're approving
Sure,
the
you're
license.
approving the
The
license.
license, the application is for a license.
10,000,
Application's for a license, but we
You're
have to
approving the
approve.
license, that's what we've always, these are always to approve the license.
Which
They've all been there.
considerations
It's always been that way.
it's 10,500
per
for all.
Apiece?
per application.
No, it's 3,000 for one, 2,900.
No,
These
wait a
are
minute.
aerials, these are aerials.
4,000, they're aerial, and it's the same as.
There's no surface rights?
We have to approve them later to sign it,
No.
when it's done.
No, you can approve these, you are approving these, and this is what we've been doing for many years.
Well, I'm not saying we haven't been, whatever.
There's nothing,
Then do we know what the?
Yes.
It's 10,510.
For all three.
For all three. It's essentially the three-phase wire line, so the easement is.
Okay, I have a motion, is there any further discussion? I have a motion pending, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries.
Okay, 1547 and 1548 have been placed before you in November of 2013.
They were approved in
Approved.
November 2013 with conditions. One of the conditions was that the payment of the amount that we had negotiated on these be made prior to 60 days after approval. It was not made, and so the offer was withdrawn and the license was withdrawn. So that has to come back in front of you, but it has been approved. The amounts of these are
The
fairly
amount
significant.
for 1547, and this obviously would be a city of Socorro Road.
This is the amount that you guys approved several months ago.
$55,605. And for 1548 is $42,470.
Those for two, so approximately $100,000 for two. The reason these are so large compared to the other ones is that they needed to contain their stormwater on site, and that we allowed them to construct detention facilities within our right-of-ways to do that. As an alternative of putting it in our drain without approval. So we kept all the increased runoff from urbanization of these developments of the road on site and provided stormwater, and they have to pay for that use of that land. So those have fairly big footprints, right?
Yes, this will be, this bridge is right next to the RCA. It's going across to feed the Margarita subdivision that's off of Passmore. So it's just about a 60-foot width from the right of way because of the arterial and the traffic that will be going around.
And like I say, the board's already reviewed all these several months ago. You may not remember them, but we went through them all, and you guys approved them. They were approved, but the city of Socorro failed to meet the conditions on their approval, which was
They
painful.
didn't bring a check.
They didn't bring a check. They have brought a check, and we have a check.
We have those checks.
Ready
Do I
for
hear a
the vote.
motion to approve? Art makes a motion, second.
Second.
Larry seconds, all in favor say aye. All
Aye.
opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Okay.
1667.
It's an application, they have a Time Warner cable to cross a single overhead line across the Alamo Alto drain that's located right past the last, by the cemetery of Fabens, across the Alamo Alto drain, Alameda, and the Alamo Alto drain to feed some residences. And they submitted their survey and documentation, and the consideration, $8,912 for a 25-year license.
Which is at the square foot rate that you had approved on the previous one from Time Warner that we negotiated.
Correct.
Which did you know what that, the 50 cents a square foot?
We've had some previous Time Warner.
Yes, 2 months ago. Were the first.
So in addition, is there an annual fee on the license?
This
Or it's
is,
a one-time only
It's a
payment?
one-time.
it's a one-time for a 25-year paid up upfront.
Do I hear a motion to approve? So Larry makes a motion.
Second.
Been moved and second, we approve application 1667. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Application 1673 and 1674.
Okay, 1673 is this, 74 and 77 are in the same location. 73,
Is it different one? Okay.
yes, it's,
Does it matter?
no, it's all the same, yes.
We do all three of them?
Yes, we can. So El Paso Electric, yes, has made applications for, to cross the Franklin Canal and the west side, Union East. They submitted the documentation, engineering plans. We have, the consideration for those three. It's $15,070 for a 50-year license.
Do I hear a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and second, we approve application 1673, 74, and 77. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, no dewatering license, no reclassified land, agreement to classify, okay, this agreement to classify non-arable land as arable land. Number 8 on
This is an application on behalf of Mr. Jeffrey Blackwell, and it's gone through operations and taxes and engineering, and it meets, it has the opportunity to be irrigated off our delivery system. And obviously there's some back taxes, and he submitted,
I think this land was irrigable at one time, and then they didn't want to pay the taxes, so they removed it from subject to construction charge now. Where is it?
it's in the Upper Valley, by Gomez Road. It's off of Upper Valley Road,
Is it right in the very end of it down there? Is it one of those old bosky areas? or
between
what?
Country Club and Artcraft. By Upper Valley Road, by the roundabout.
It's a portion of it.
He submitted, agreed to the back taxes, and, you know, we'll pay the taxes as due, and so we have the ability to deliver water to it.
And just like it's been done in the past. with
No,
all
the
other-
only thing on, and is this one critical, we're done with the season, can we table this one for, I can discuss it in closed session, if you're sorry, I forgot.
The him?
Yeah.
Sure.
I forgot something about it. I meant to do, Rose is gone, and I just failed to do it, so,
Okay.
I'll let you know in closed session.
No action. No closed session. All right, I think that's all. The rest of them, no action. Sharon, we need to go into closed session, and I need a break. We're back in open session. Got that on now? All right. We had two items. Item 6B. And I think Alice requested that we do a resolution approving the form of the deed. that
I
was
thought he
presented this
requested a
morning.
resolution approving the sale.
No.
Approve the
For
sale.
God's sake,
Approve
do
the
it.
sale?
For once, do it.
Yeah, just do it.
No, I don't have a
Approve the
problem.
sale,
I
at that,
misunderstood you
you're
wanted
making
to-
an offer to them, if they bring you a check for $275,000.
No,
I mean,
I'm not arguing with you. I
2.75 that they
misunderstood
signed.
what you asked to have done.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought we were approving the form of the deed, that's what all the argument was about.
No,
The
it's
sale.
not.
It's
Spirit.
the sale of the property,
Okay,
With this
that's
deed.
what I'm, that's right.
or if they make payment within 60 days.
Right, okay, now, that's what.
At no expense to us, to the district.
Fine.
I'll make
Okay. Does anybody want to make that
I'll
motion?
make the motion.
You make the motion, do I hear a second?
I'm making,
I'm got the second.
Done.
This is the All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Item 8, no action. We have instructed Mr. Spear to go back to the county office, and he has that, and we'll wait to hear from him about when they throw him out on his ear, and- or accept it. Right? So no action on number 8. That's it.
12M,
Oh,
1670.
you're right, Sharon, I'm sorry.
Just table it.
Thank you,
I
Sharon.
just tabled it, I forgot.
As usual, Sharon keeps us in line.
Just,
We didn't
we didn't
discuss that.
discuss it,
We-
so
Yeah.
just table it.
Right, no action. Oh, better next time. All right, anything else? No, thank you.
One more thing, we were going to ask you all to postpone the September meeting since we had this one. And we'll meet again October the 8th.
We actually can't cancel the system.
Cancel it, yeah.
Mhm.
September.
Works for me.
That's all right with me.
And at
Well,
that
you're
time,
canceling the regular monthly meeting
we'll set the tax rate.
for September, which would otherwise be held in September.
Works for me. And in our discussions on the budget today, we're assuming that keeping that tax rate the same at this point in time.
Those figures we looked at,
Yeah,
that'll be discussed in October.
And you'll come back with you'll show us a new budget, the cover sheet's all on. Is what it's been, to see the accurate,
Numbers?
numbers.
Okay.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
come on.
And Norm makes a motion. Second. Larry seconds, all in favor say aye. Aye.